तो आज हम लोग आए हैं जेई सेशन 2 मेंस के एग्ज़ाम हॉल के पास में जानने के लिए कि बच्चों ने कैसा एग्ज़ाम किया है, कैसा नहीं किया है। तो अभी बस बच्चे आते ही होंगे और 10 से 15 मिनट में तो जानेंगे उनसे डिटेल में कि उन्होंने पेपर कैसा किया, कैसा नहीं किया है। एंड इन द मीन टाइम हमारे पास में हमारे फैकल्टीज़ एक्सपर्ट्स अवेलेबल हैं, तो उनसे कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं जो कि हेल्प आउट करेंगे स्टूडेंट्स को अपने नेक्स्ट शिफ्ट्स के राउंड्स के लिए। पेपर क्या है? हाउ वाज द पेपर?
पेपर इजी था, थोड़ी लेंदी शिफ्ट थी।
लेंदी शिफ्ट थी। कौन सा लेंदी आया था? फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स में से? मैथ्स वाज लेंदी। एंड व्हाट अबाउट फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री?
फिजिक्स थोड़ी इजी थी और केमिस्ट्री में तो ज़्यादातर।
तो ये आपने जनवरी वाला अटेम्प्ट दिया था बेटा?
मेरा
फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट था। तो क्या आपने स्ट्रैटेजी फॉलो करी?
ज़्यादा फॉलो किए थे।
अच्छा, तो आपने पहले कितने आपने मॉक टेस्ट वगैरह दिए होंगे पहले, तो कितने मॉक टेस्ट आपने प्रैक्टिस किए?
उसमें मेरे मॉक टेस्ट पे 152 स्कोर आ गया था।
ठीक है बेटा, थैंक यू सो मच। पेपर बेटा नहीं किया? आपने दिया पेपर? कैसा था? टफ था? कोई जवाब नहीं दे रहा। How- बता दो, कैमरा में आ जाओगे? हेलो, हाउ वाज द पेपर बेटा?
अच्छा था।
अच्छा था। जनवरी वाला अटेम्प्ट भी दिया था आपने?
Yes, ma'am.
दिया था। तो ये वाला पेपर डिफिकल्ट था या पहले वाला?
पहले वाला।
पहले वाला ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट था। आज 3 सेक्शंस में पेपर था, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री एंड मैथ्स का। सो तीनों में से सबसे इजी कौन सा आया?
सबसे इजी केमिस्ट्री लगी।
केमिस्ट्री लगी। एंड व्हाट अबाउट फिजिक्स एंड मैथ्स?
फिजिक्स भी अच्छी थी पर मैथ्स ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट थी।
मैथ्स लेंदी आया है कंपैरेटिवली। कितने क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट किए आपने?
मैंने 38।
38 अटेम्प्ट करे। तो क्या स्ट्रैटेजी फॉलो करी, कैसे आपने पेपर स्टार्ट किया?
पेपर स्टार्ट मैंने इजी वाले से करा था, तो मेरे को केमिस्ट्री लगता उससे करा, फिर फिजिक्स, फिर मैथ्स।
फिर मैथ्स किया। ओके, तो कितना लगता है कितना स्कोर कर लोगे आप?
अब देखते हैं 120 के आसपास आ जाए।
120 के आसपास। चलिए, ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा।
बट हाँ, ऐसे ऐसे जैसे अपने मुंह के पास रख लो ऐसे।
हाउ वाज द पेपर?
बहुत इजी था, मतलब
इजी
इजी था।
तो जनवरी वाला अटेम्प्ट भी दिया था
नहीं,
आपने?
जनवरी वाला अटेम्प्ट नहीं दिया
नहीं
था
दिया था। तो अभी 3 सेक्शंस थे पेपर में, राइट? फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री एंड मैथ्स। तो तीनों की अगर हम बात करें तो सबसे इजी कौन सा लगा
लाइक
आपको?
मेरे लिए तो मेरे को फिजिक्स थोड़ा सही लगा था।
फिजिक्स आपको सही लगा। एंड मैथ्स कैसा आया था? लेंदी था, ज़्यादा कैलकुलेटिव था, कैसा था मैथ्स?
मैथ्स जो था, मैथ्स लाइक मेरा ठीक ठाक गया, मतलब ऐसा ओके सा गया था। मेरे को तो ज़्यादा लेंथी नहीं लगा, मतलब
लेंदी नहीं लगा। कितने क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट कर आए हो?
मैंने पूरा सही से अभी लाइक ऐसे
एनालाइज नहीं किया है
Were
अभी
you able
आपने?
to solve all the problems of physics?
नो, आई वाजंट एबल टू सॉल्व ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ द फिजिक्स, बट आई वाज एबल टू सॉल्व मोस्ट ऑफ देम।
Most of them. So you find all the questions relatively easy, like fact based.
Like not relatively easy, but they were a bit moderate level.
Okay, okay. So it was calculation based only, but it was not multi-step calculation based, right? Okay. And what about chemistry?
Like chemistry was a little bit calculative, but
Math, as usual, it was difficult, right?
it was like a moderate level, like a little bit above the moderate.
How do you rate this paper from the last session's paper?
Like I haven't given the January one attempt.
Okay. So you are confident that you are going to write JEE advanced paper?
Uh, we'll see.
Okay. What percentile do you expect from this exam?
I haven't, as I said, I haven't analyzed the whole paper yet, so
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. All the very best. Keep it up.
हाउ वाज द पेपर बेटा? हाउ वाज द पेपर? पेपर कैसा था? ठीक था। अच्छा, थोड़ा सा बात कर लो, कहीं कुछ कहेंगे नहीं। हाउ वाज द पेपर? अभी आपने फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट दिया है या जनवरी वाला भी दिया था?
जनवरी वाला भी दिया था।
थोड़ा सा जनवरी वाला भी दिया था। तो आज 3 अटेम्प्ट्स थे, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स। सबसे इजी पोर्शन कौन सा लगा आपको?
मेरे को फिजिक्स।
फिजिक्स इजी लगा। एंड व्हाट अबाउट केमिस्ट्री एंड मैथ्स?
केमिस्ट्री वाज आल्सो इजी, मैथ्स थोड़ी सी लेंदी थी।
लेंदी आई थी। तो आपने कितने क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट किए ओवरऑल?
मैंने अप्रॉक्सीमेटली कितने किए थे,
230 to 40 मार्क्स का अटेम्प्ट किया था।
230 to 40 मार्क्स का अटेम्प्ट किया है। चलिए दैट्स रियली गुड। क्या सोच रहे कितना परसेंटाइल के आसपास आ जाएगा?
पता नहीं जो आएगा।
चलिए ऑल द बेस्ट।
भाई कौन है ना आपका?
मुझे कैसे पता होगा?
ऑन है सर, ऑन है।
मेहनत में पानी,
अरे वो
मेरी मेहनत में पानी मत गिरा देना। माइक बंद हो और मैं बोल नहीं रहा हूँ। हाउ वाज द पेपर बेटा?
पेपर अच्छा था,
अच्छा था,
मॉडरेट लगा मुझे तो।
मॉडरेट लगा। तो पहला अटेम्प्ट था ये आपका या जनवरी वाला भी दिया था?
जनवरी वाला भी दिया था।
जनवरी वाला भी दिया था। तो आपको क्या लगता है वो वाले पेपर में और इस वाले पेपर में क्या डिफरेंस था?
डिफरेंस, डिफ़िकल्टी लेवल तो ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं लगा मुझे। थोड़ा वेटेज का होगा, मैथ्स में भी थोड़ा वेटेज और केमिस्ट्री में भी थोड़ा वेटेज, ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री की थोड़ी ज़्यादा थी इसमें मुझे लगा,
अच्छा ओके।
उसमें कम थी थोड़ी।
तो कितने टोटल क्वेश्चंस आप अटेम्प्ट कर आए हो?
मैंने 66।
66 क्वेश्चंस आपने अटेम्प्ट किए हैं। एंड क्या ड्रीम कॉलेज है आपका?
ड्रीम तो IIT दिल्ली है।
IIT दिल्ली है। तो एडवांस के लिए कितना प्रिपेयर्ड हो?
एडवांस की मैं अभी ज़्यादा नहीं हूँ, बट अभी करूँगा, आज जाते ही मैं प्रिपरेशन शुरू करूँगा।
प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करोगे। तो क्या स्ट्रैटेजी आज आपने फॉलो करी पूरा दिन में?
मैंने वही बस रिवीजन और क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस, यही दो चीज़ें।
चलिए ठीक है, ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा।
बेटे सब्जेक्ट वाइज कोई डिफरेंस लगा लास्ट टाइम के जो पेपर थे सेशन 1 के और इसमें कोई डिफरेंस लगा?
वाइज डिफ़िकल्टी में तो नहीं लगा, वेटेज में थोड़ा था डिफरेंस।
वेटेज में तीनों सब्जेक्ट में कौन सा सब्जेक्ट टफ लगा?
फिजिक्स।
फिजिक्स टफ था। एंड केमिस्ट्री कैसा था?
केमिस्ट्री मॉडरेट, मॉडरेट, इजी मॉडरेट।
तो तुम सारे क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर पाए?
सारे तो नहीं किए पर मैक्सिमम किए।
कोई ऐसा टॉपिक किसी सब्जेक्ट में जिसके ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन आ गए हो?
हाँ, केमिस्ट्री में ऑर्गेनिक के।
केमिस्ट्री में ऑर्गेनिक पार्ट के ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन थे। फिजिक्स में ऐसा कोई टॉपिक है जो ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन जिस पे आया हो?
फिजिक्स में 11th के चैप्टर से जो ऑसिलेशंस, वेव्स और
ओके, मतलब 11th के पोर्शन ज़्यादा थे तुम्हारे हिसाब से?
हाई वेटेज वाले होते हैं, उनसे मुझे कम लगे क्वेश्चंस। ऑप्टिक्स और करंट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से थोड़ा।
ओके, और मैथ्स में कोई ऐसा टॉपिक था जिसके ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस थे?
मैथ्स में तो नहीं, मैथ्स में तो इक्वली लगा सब।
मैथ्स का जो पेपर था वो लास्ट जो शिफ्ट थी उससे तुम्हें कितना चेंज लगा?
लास्ट में
पेपर थोड़ा सा उससे कंपैरिजन में मुझे डिफिकल्ट लगा या सेम ही लेवल का था?
सेम ही लेवल का, मैथ्स में ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं था। वेटेज
कितने नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आपने अटेम्प्ट किए?
66।
66 यू हैव अटेम्प्टेड, नाइस वन। सो क्या लगता है आपको कि मैं और 4 क्वेश्चन एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट कर देता अगर ये गलतियां ना करता तो?
शायद हो सकता है, बट अभी मैं खुश हूँ जितने मैंने किए उतना।
अगर आप 66 करके आए हो तो आपको लगता है कि आपकी एक्यूरेसी कितनी होगी? क्योंकि मैथ्स में तो यू नो
एक्यूरेसी वैसे मैंने काफ़ी कई क्वेश्चंस गेस भी किए हैं, तो अराउंड 60%, 60-70%, 60-70%।
अबाउट फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री?
केमिस्ट्री में कंपैरेटिवली हाई हो गई एक्यूरेसी, क्योंकि वो
So you are now focused on advanced part, definitely.
या
Good, best of luck. 66 is a good number of questions. Good. Thank you.
आपकी ना कोई आवाज़ नहीं आई होगी माइक में।
मेरा आया था।
आपका
पतली आनी चाहिए। कैसा रहा बेटा पेपर आपका?
इस बार का बेटर हुआ है पिछली बार से, और पिछली बार 97 थी परसेंटाइल, बट इस बार थोड़ी सी कम लग रही है।
कम लग रही है तो आप कह रहे हो बेटर लगा इस बार का पेपर, तो फिर परसेंटाइल कम कैसे?
फिज़िक्स केमिस्ट्री मतलब NCERT जिसने पढ़ी हो, बोर्ड्स के लिए जिसने प्रिपेयर किया हो, केमिस्ट्री की तो NCERT जिसने लाइन बाय लाइन पढ़ी हो उसके लिए NCERT निकालना आसान था, बट मैथ्स इस बार लेंदी दे दी थी बहुत ज़्यादा। कोनिक सेक्शन के और एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन को मिला के ऐसे क्वेश्चंस बनाए हुए थे जो कि बच्चे को अब 3 आवर्स में नहीं हो सकते।
अच्छा, तो कंपैरेटिवली बेसिकली पेपर लेंदी आया है, आप ये बता रहे हैं, ठीक है। एंड अगर मैं बात करूँ एडवांस के लिए आप कितना प्रिपेयर्ड है?
एडवांस के लिए 25 से 30%।
25 से 30% प्रिपेयर है। क्या स्ट्रैटेजी आज आपने पेपर के लिए फॉलो करी?
आज के लिए बोर्ड्स मैं PCM से हूँ, तो 12th को ख़त्म हो गए थे, तो बोर्ड से लेके अभी तक मैंने वही किया था, मतलब बोर्ड्स की पढ़ाई तो कर ली थी, बस क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस ही कर रही थी।
तो बेसिकली आपने मॉक टेस्ट दिए हैं इसके एग्ज़ाम के लिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा। तो कोई लास्ट मिनट एडवाइस सेकंड शिफ्ट के बच्चों के लिए?
लास्ट मिनट मैंने कल रात से लेकर अभी तक मैंने सिर्फ नोट्स नहीं छुए थे, मैंने अपने माइंड में रिकॉल किया था कि कौन से चैप्टर से क्या क्या था। लाइक मैंने मैथ्स का शुरू किया कि रिलेशन फंक्शंस में ये था, सेट्स थे उसमें ये था, ऐसे रिवाइज किया और फिर सुबह मैंने बस एक बार नोट्स गो थ्रू कर लिए थे और एग्ज़ाम हॉल में बैठ के भी वही कर रहा था।
चलिए, वेरी गुड, ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा। तो अब हमारे साथ हैं मैथ्स फैकल्टी आदित्य धिमन सर। आइए उनसे जानते हैं कि क्या स्ट्रैटेजी बच्चों को फॉलो करनी चाहिए मैथ्स के पेपर करते समय। तो सर, क्या फॉलो करना चाहिए बच्चों को मैथ्स का पेपर करते हुए जेई मेंस के अटेम्प्ट के दौरान?
देखिए मैम, आज का दिन बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है सभी बच्चों के लिए, हमारे जो भी अटेम्प्ट देने वाले हैं। तो आज के लिए बच्चे हमेशा इस बात का ध्यान रखें कि उन्होंने पिछले 2 साल में जितनी मेहनत की हुई है उस पर फोकस करें और अपने माइंड को काम रखें कि बिल्कुल फोकस नहीं लॉस करना है पेपर के टाइम पे। ट्राई करना है कि जितना उन्होंने सीखा है उसको अच्छे से कन्वर्ट कर पाए इस पेपर में, और ट्राई करें कि सबसे पहले पेपर में वो वाले क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करें हर सब्जेक्ट में जो उन्होंने पहले देखे हुए हैं, या वो पहले उसको मॉक टेस्ट में नारायणा के या किसी भी टेस्ट सीरीज के अच्छे से उसको देख चुके हैं। तो ट्राई करें कि एक बार उन सब क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू गो थ्रू हो जाए, ताकि वो एक जो मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया है क्वेश्चंस का उसको पार कर ले। उसके बाद फिर ट्राई करें कि जो लेवल 2 क्वेश्चंस है, लेवल 3 क्वेश्चंस है, उस पे जाए। खासकर मैथ में आपको पता ही है, मैथ का पेपर डिफिकल्ट आता है, थोड़ा
बिल्कुल
लेंथी भी
बिल्कुल,
आता है।
जनवरी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट का भी मैथ्स
हाँ
का
जी।
पेपर मैंने सुना है कि काफी डिफिकल्ट
जी
रहा
जी।
था बच्चों
तो
के
बच्चे
लिए।
को एक्यूरेसी पे ध्यान देना पड़ेगा सबसे ज़्यादा, कि वो कितना एक्यूरेट क्वेश्चंस के आंसर निकाल रहा है। अगर वो 50% क्वेश्चन सही करके आता है तो उसकी परसेंटेज बहुत अच्छी बन जाएगी मैथ सब्जेक्ट में। और सबको पता है कि केमिस्ट्री बहुत स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट है, तो हमने अपने सभी बच्चों को गाइड किया है कि जो जो क्वेश्चंस ईजी है उसको बिल्कुल ना छोड़े, और अपने आप को काम रखे, अपनी मेहनत पे, अपने टीचर्स पे हमेशा भरोसा रखे कि उन्होंने जो सिखाया है वो उसी से पेपर होने वाला है। और हम अपने
बिल्कुल।
बच्चों को लेकर बहुत प्राउड फील कर रहे हैं कि वो अच्छा करने वाले हैं।
चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक
केमिस्ट्री फैकल्टी ना।
यू। हाँ जी, ठीक है, रेडी, स्टार्ट।
तो अब हमारे साथ है लवीन सर, केमिस्ट्री फैकल्टी, केमिस्ट्री।
LAVI लवी।
लवी,
हाँ
दोबारा, लवी कुमार।
हाँ।
हमारे साथ हैं अब लवी कुमार सर, केमिस्ट्री के एक्सपर्ट फैकल्टीज। तो उनसे जानते हैं कि बच्चों को किस तरीके से सर आपने गाइड किया, किस तरीके के आपने बताया कि पेपर से पहले ये करके जाना प्रिपरेशन, सो दैट वो अपना अटेम्प्ट अच्छे से कर सके जेई
मैम
का।
केमिस्ट्री पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से मैं 2 ही एडवाइस देता हूँ बच्चों को। एक एनसीईआरटी डेफिनेटली पढ़नी है और लाइन बाय लाइन पढ़नी है, एंड देन सॉल्व पीवाईक्यूज।
ओके।
ये तो काम मिनिमम कंपलसरी काम है। उसके बाद जो भी आप काम करें वो एडिशनल है, बट इन दोनों की कॉस्ट पे कोई काम नहीं होना चाहिए। एनसीईआरटी मस्ट रीड है, एज वेल एज पीवाईक्यू सॉल्व करना मस्ट है।
ठीक है, तो सर जैसे आपने बच्चों को, काफ़ी बच्चों को गाइड भी किया
हाँ
है
जी।
इस दौरान,
हाँ
पिछले
जी।
2 सालों में इस अटेम्प्ट के लिए, तो आप अपने बच्चों को क्या विशेस दी है, आपने क्या बताया है बच्चों को, क्या आपने एक्सप्लेन किया है कि क्या स्ट्रैटेजी फॉलो करें, किस तरीके से पेपर को अटेम्प्ट
केमिस्ट्री में
करें?
बच्चों को ज़्यादा जो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने में प्रॉब्लम आती है वो असर्शन रीजन वाले क्वेश्चंस में दिक्कत आती है,
जी।
और वो बहुत लॉजिकल होते हैं कि आपको रिलेट करना है रीजन को असर्शन के साथ, और ये भी बताना है करेक्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन है या नहीं। तो
ओके।
उसके लिए थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस चाहिए। तो
प्रैक्टिस
उस क्वेश्चन, उन क्वेश्चंस की प्रैक्टिस करना बहुत ही कंपलसरी है, वो बिना प्रैक्टिस के सॉल्व नहीं होते।
चलिए, ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
ओके मैम।
ठीक है, भूपेश 1 एंड 2।
तो हमारे साथ हैं आज फिजिक्स के एक्सपर्ट, जानते हैं उनसे कि उन्होंने कैसे बच्चों को मेंटर किया है एंड कैसे बच्चों को स्ट्रैटेजीज फॉलो करनी चाहिए अपने एग्जाम्स के लिए। सो सर, आप प्लीज़ कुछ बताइए कि क्या स्ट्रैटेजी बच्चों को टाइम मैनेजमेंट को लेके फॉलो करनी चाहिए।
एक्चुअली ये जो जेई मेन एग्जाम है, ये टाइम मैनेजमेंट का ज़्यादा रोल है इसमें दैन द नॉलेज ऑफ फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री एंड मैथमेटिक्स। ऑफ कोर्स कॉन्फिडेंस हैज़ अ रोल। सो बच्चों का अगर फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथमेटिक्स का सही इनपुट मिला हुआ है, ठीक है, और
जी।
थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस भी सही लेवल का हुआ है, खूब सारे मॉक टेस्ट पेपर बच्चों ने दिया हुआ है, तो ये एक ही फैक्टर है जो क्रूशियल हो जाता है, दैट इज टाइम मैनेजमेंट। टाइम मैनेजमेंट और स्ट्रैटेजी दोनों रिलेटेड है। एक्चुअली स्ट्रैटेजी से ही टाइम मैनेज हो जाएगा, ठीक है।
तो आपको क्या लगता है सर, क्या स्ट्रैटेजी बच्चों को एग्जाम, ड्यूरिंग एग्जाम फॉलो करनी चाहिए?
देखिए, एक्चुअली इसमें है ना कि फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथ्स में यूजुअली फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री का पेपर रिलेटिवली इजी आता है, फैक्ट बेस्ड आता है, ठीक है। तो उसमें बच्चों को ये बोला जाता है कि आप थोड़ा सा टाइम सेव करें। जैसे 3 घंटे में 3 पेपर देने होते हैं, 3 पेपर नहीं, एक पेपर के 3 सेक्शन होते हैं, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथमेटिक्स, तो रफली 1-1 घंटे का टाइम अलॉटेड होता है।
जी।
बट केमिस्ट्री में सम 10 मिनट से 15 मिनट तक हम सेव करने के लिए बच्चों को बोलते हैं। फिजिक्स में 5 से 10 मिनट तक बच्चों को टाइम सेव कर लेना चाहिए। वो जो 5 से 10 मिनट 15 मिनट जो भी टाइम सेव हो पाता है, उसको अगर हम मैथ में लगा दें तो जाकर के हमारा टाइम मैनेज प्रॉपर हो जाता है, और स्टूडेंट्स विल बी एबल टू अटेम्प्ट ऑल द क्वेश्चंस 3 घंटे में 75 क्वेश्चंस को करना, जिसमें एक्यूरेसी भी मेंटेन करना, इट्स ए चैलेंजिंग टास्क, ठीक है।
एब्सोल्युटली।
हाँ, तो ये इस तरीके से कर सकते हैं मैडम।
तो सर जैसे कई बार बच्चे पैनिक हो जाते हैं पेपर देने के टाइम पे, तो उसको होल्ड करने के लिए बच्चों को क्या करना चाहिए?
हाँ, गुड क्वेश्चन। देखिए यहाँ पे है ना कि बच्चों को ये बताया जाता है कि चाहे आप पहले फिजिक्स करो या पहले केमिस्ट्री करो, यूजुअली मैथ्स पहले नहीं करते हैं, बट जो भी पहले करो उसमें हमें क्वेश्चन को आइडेंटिफाई करने होते हैं, कुछ फैक्ट बेस्ड, कुछ रिलेटिवली ईजियर क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, पहले उसे ही अटेम्प्ट लेना है, ठीक है। ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को अटेम्प्ट करने हैं जो पहले से लग रहा है कि हो जाएगा, ठीक है। ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को अटेम्प्ट करने के बाद ना बच्चों का कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट कर जाता है, और जैसे ही कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट कर गया उसके बाद तो मुश्किल क्वेश्चंस भी बच्चे कर ले जाएंगे।
चलिए।
कॉन्फिडेंस हैज अ बिगर रोल
ठीक है
इन होल
सर,
जर्नी।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
आप फिजिकली
हेलो बेटे, व्हाट्स योर नेम?
रनर सिंह।
हाउ वाज योर पेपर टुडे?
माय पेपर वाज वेरी गुड।
हाउ डू यू रेट दिस पेपर फ्रॉम योर लास्ट सेशंस पेपर?
मतलब मेरी परफॉर्मेंस तो गिरी है मैथ्स में, तो उस हिसाब से तो 8/10, बट फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बहुत इजी थी, उसमें मैंने फुल अटेम्प्ट किए हैं।
गुड, वेरी गुड। फिजिक्स इजी मींस फैक्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस थे?
फिजिक्स में मोर ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल टाइप्स थे, डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूला बेस्ड।
ओके, मींस उसमें ज़्यादा स्टेप्स नहीं लग रहे थे कैलकुलेशन में।
हाँ जी।
तो क्या उसमें जो फिजिक्स के लिए 1 घंटे का टाइम रफली अलॉटेड होता है वो सेव कर पाए?
हाँ जी,
कितने मिनट सेव कर लिए थे?
मैंने 4 मिनट के अराउंड सेव कर लिया, तो मैंने उसी से शुरू किया था।
गुड। फिजिक्स में ऐसा कोई टॉपिक जिसके क्वेश्चंस रिलेटिवली ज़्यादा आए हो दैन द लास्ट सेशंस पेपर?
हाँ जी, इस बार ज़्यादा वो आए हैं, वर्क एनर्जी पावर और सॉलिड्स वाले।
ओके। 11th और 12th सेक्शन की बात करें तो ज़्यादा पोर्शन 12th के थे या ज़्यादा पोर्शन 11th के थे?
ज़्यादा पोर्शन 11th का था।
गुड, वेरी गुड। तो फिजिक्स में मतलब 1 घंटे से कम में ये पेपर किया जा सकता था जिसने भी ठीक से पढ़ाई किया हो और ठीक से पेपर दिया हो। ओके
हाँ जी।
ओके, व्हाट अबाउट मैथ्स एंड केमिस्ट्री?
मैथ्स वाज लेंदी, ऑन द लेंदियर साइड, मतलब हो सकते थे बट इट वाज ऑन द लेंदियर साइड। एंड मैंने पेपर रिव्यूज़ जो देखे थे पिछले 4 दिन के, उनमें लिखा हुआ था केमिस्ट्री इजी आ रही है, तो मैंने फिजिक्स के बाद वो शुरू की थी। बट केमिस्ट्री में जो ये न्यूमेरिकल वाला पार्ट था उसमें टाइम लग गया था।
चलो अच्छा, पेपर के पैटर्न में कोई डिफरेंस तो नहीं है? जो लास्ट सेशन में था लाइक 25 क्वेश्चन ईच सब्जेक्ट जो था, ठीक है, 20 क्वेश्चंस मल्टीपल चॉइस बेस्ड एंड 5 क्वेश्चंस न्यूमेरिकल टाइप, सेम ही पैटर्न था इस बार भी?
हाँ जी।
और जो बच्चे अभी कल पेपर में अपीयर करेंगे, परसों अपीयर करेंगे, उन बच्चों को क्या स्पेसिफिक एडवाइस दोगे कि उनका इम्प्रूवमेंट हो जाए लास्ट सेशन के कंपैरिजन में, जो तुमने एक्सपीरियंस किया है?
भाई लोग खुद से चीज़ें रिवाइज कर लेना, बुक खोल के मत बैठना, क्योंकि उससे फिर याद नहीं आती चीज़ें।
चलो गुड, थैंक यू। केमिस्ट्री और मैथ्स में भी थोड़ा बताओ सर को।
हाँ, कैसे हो? क्या नाम है बेटा आपका?
मेरा नाम प्रणर सिंह है।
प्रनर सिंह। तो मुझे ये बताओ कि मैथ का पेपर आपको लास्ट शिफ्ट के कंपैरिजन में डिफ़िकल्ट लगा कि इजी लगा?
मैथ्स का पेपर लास्ट शिफ्ट में तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि हो ही नहीं सकता, डुएबल ही नहीं था। इस बार वो कंपैरेटिवली ईजियर साइड पे था बट लेंदियर था।
लेंदी था, आप ये बोल रहे हो कि पहले के कंपैरिजन में इजी था बट इस बार लेंदी था। ओके, तो कितने क्वेश्चंस आपने अटेम्प्ट किए इस वाले में मैथ्स में?
इस वाले में मैंने 10 किए हैं।
10 किए आपने, और आप बोल रहे हो कि लेंदी था, तो 10 भी अगर आपने सही से किए हैं तो ठीक परसेंटाइल बन सकता है आपका, है ना?
हाँ जी, अगर वो एक्यूरेट गए तो।
अगर वो एक्यूरेट है। और आप अगर जो बच्चे अभी नेक्स्ट शिफ्ट में देने वाले हैं कल, आपको क्या लगता है कि उनको क्या इस टाइम पे करना चाहिए?
अगर मैं सब्जेक्ट वाइज बोलूँ तो मैथ्स में उन्हें एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन और कोनिक सेक्शन को ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस कर लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि वेक्टर्स के 3 सवाल आ गए थे मैथ्स में।
सिर्फ वेक्टर के 3 सवाल आ गए, और इजी थे कि डिफिकल्ट थे वो?
इजी थे।
इजी सवाल थे। ओके, सो बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर योर जेईई एडवांस अटेम्प्ट। ट्राई टू डू एंड ट्राई टू गिव एज मेनी एज मॉक्स यू कैन। ओके, सो कीप इट।
थैंक यू।
हेलो बेटा। हेलो।
हेलो सर।
केमिस्ट्री का एग्ज़ाम कैसा रहा आपका?
केमिस्ट्री का एग्ज़ाम इजी था बट उसमें न्यूमेरिकल टाइप्स फिर से वही ज़्यादा लेंदियर साइड पे थे।
तो कौन सा सेक्शन ज़्यादा आया, ऑर्गेनिक, फिजिकल, इनऑर्गेनिक?
ऑर्गेनिक और इनऑर्गेनिक बैलेंस था। फिजिकल इस बार कम देखने को मिला।
ओके,
पर फिजिकल में इस बार सम बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट ज़्यादा वो थे।
ओके, ठीक है। और इसमें चैप्टर वाइज क्या वेटेज लगा आपको केमिस्ट्री में?
चैप्टर वाइज सम बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स के मैंने 3 क्वेश्चंस देख लिए 25 में से।
एंड व्हाट अबाउट केमिकल बॉन्डिंग एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, उनके सवाल थे?
केमिकल बॉन्डिंग का हाँ बस एक ही था पर
ओके, और असर्शन रीजन?
असर्शन रीजन में 2 सवाल आए थे एंड दोनों डुएबल थे अगर एनसीईआरटी की हो।
अच्छा, ओके। तो इसको आप रेट कैसे करेंगे? इजी, मॉडरेट, डिफिकल्ट?
इजी।
इजी। चलो ठीक है, गुड लक फॉर द फ्यूचर एंडेवर्स। ठीक है,
आप लोग कौन से उससे हो?
हम नारायणा।
सो कैसा रहा आपने अटेम्प्ट जो आज दिया? फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री पे मेजरली फोकस किया होगा या मैथ्स का अटेम्प्ट भी दिया है?
मैथ का तो बिल्कुल छुआ भी नहीं।
छुआ भी नहीं मैथ्स में। तो फोकस क्या है? नीट है फोकस आपका या आपका फोकस जेई है?
जी तो दे भी नहीं सकता मैं, मेरे पास पीसीएम नहीं है।
अच्छा, आपने लिया ही पीसीबी है एंड आपने जस्ट आज देखने के लिए कि पेपर कैसा आता है कैसा नहीं आता है, पैनिक होते हो नहीं आते हो, माहौल देखने के लिए आपने आज अटेम्प्ट दिया है, ठीक है। सो फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री की बात करूं तो ज़्यादा मुश्किल आपको क्या लगा, फिजिक्स या केमिस्ट्री?
केमिस्ट्री।
केमिस्ट्री मुश्किल लगा। एंड फिजिक्स में आपको क्या आसान लगा? कैसे क्वेश्चंस आए थे, क्या पैटर्न था, थोड़ा सा बताइए।
आसान ही था सब।
आसान ही था सब।
हाँ।
चलिए ठीक है, ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा।
अच्छा हुआ।
अच्छा हुआ। तो कौन सा, 3 सब्जेक्ट्स थे, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथ्स, तो तीनों में से कौन सा आपको लगता है कि इजी पोर्शन ज़्यादा आया था?
केमिस्ट्री रिलेटिव रीजन 21 क्वेश्चन तक अटेम्प्ट हो गए थे उसके अंदर।
ओके।
फिजिक्स थोड़ी मॉडरेट डिफिकल्ट साइड में, केमिस्ट्री ऑन द इजी साइड।
व्हाट अबाउट मैथ्स?
मैथ्स डुएबल था बट एंड में टाइम रहते रहते वही 10 क्वेश्चन अराउंड 8 अटेम्प्ट हो पाए थे।
सो ओवरऑल कितने क्वेश्चंस टोटल अटेम्प्ट किया आपने?
46।
46। एडवांस की प्रिपरेशंस के लिए अब जुट जाओगे पूरा?
एक्चुअली मैं पार्शियल ड्रॉपर हूँ, मैं ऑलरेडी कॉलेज में हूँ।
अच्छा।
हाँ, सो विल सी क्या होता है।
चलिए, ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा।
And now, let's tackle some chemistry questions.
Hello everyone, good morning. So here we are with 5th of April morning session chemistry question paper. Some of the question we have already discussed. These are more that has come to us. So let's start this particular organic first question. P on reductive ozonolysis forms Q. Q on reaction with alkali, okay, and it gives R. Now when it gives R, this reaction I am talking, and then with NaOIH plus. So you have to identify the reactions by the reagents here, right? So NaOI and H plus forming S. Now what is S? S is given as carboxylic acid, right? If S is given as carboxylic acid and was formed after NaOI and H plus, which reaction is this? This is haloform, or you can call iodoform here as NaOI is clear. So haloform reaction. Probably this alkali H plus, I think by this time we can guess this R was methyl ketone. So this is aldol condensation. Okay, and coming to structure S, such questions are to be solved in a backward manner. What do I mean? Back analysis is to be done. So COOH methyl, this is our structure S. What would have been there which on iodoform will give this compound? Methyl ketone. So this should be the structure of R. As yes, with NaOI followed by H plus, this product can be formed. Now we have got R. R is formed by aldol condensation as it is given alkali and heat. So I guess all of you must be expert with that aldol condensation, retroaldol, how to do. You have to break that double bond and put C double bond O at suitable place. So let us do that. I added this one extra line, so let me redraw. This must have been C double bond O CH3, C double bond O. This was our structure for Q. If this is our structure for Q, which is formed by ozonolysis, don't be confused with the word reductive ozonolysis. Reductive ozonolysis is normal ozonolysis, that is in presence of zinc and water. If it would have been oxidative ozonolysis, then you have to oxidize aldehydes to acid and ketone remain as such. Okay, so reductive ozonolysis, again we have to go backward. You will remove these 2 oxygen and extend double bond. How to guess the structure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is quite clear that it was a 6-member ring. 1 and 6 had a double bond. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can see 6 also has methyl and 1 also has methyl like this. Okay, so the compound out of all these options seems to be the third one. Answer is third. What is the IUPAC of this third compound? 1,2 dimethyl cyclohexene is the original structure of B. Okay, it is a wonderful question. It takes time, it takes analysis. Again, this is also a good question. See, from the following, identify reaction which gives benzyl isocyanide. Now, first you have to know what is benzyl isocyanide, and the options they have created surely knows that student gets confused with benzyl and phenyl. Like benzyl isocyanide has this extra CH2, whereas in third and fourth the products formed will be like this. This is phenyl isocyanide. Okay, there is a difference of this extra CH2 in benzyl and phenyl isocyanide. So, from the following, identify the reaction which will give this product. First reaction is SN2. AgCN is used, in which nitrogen attacks, bromine is removed. So, the first reaction is PHCH2Br plus AgCN forms PHCH2NC. Right? So, bilkul correct. We are getting benzyl isocyanide in option number 1. So 2 and 3, I think 2 and 4, we can eliminate these two, and A and D are in the race. Moving to question number 2, chloroform and KOH. It is again not question number 2, option number 2. What does it say? That it has, let me see, pH CH2 NH2 and is treated with chloroform in presence of KOH. Okay, so this is again a famous reaction called carbyl-amine test or carbyl-amine reaction. Okay, carbyl-amine reaction or carbyl-amine test. It is also known as isocyanide test. And what is formed here? NC, benzyl isocyanide. Foul smelling compound, and this is the confirmatory test for primary amines. So 1 and 2, and thus answer is D. Okay, 3 we have already done. 3, it can't be in the race. As far as the fourth is concerned, fourth will have a condition of no reaction. Cyanide or isocyanide cannot substitute an aryl halide. Please excuse me. Moving to the next question. Phenol with dilute HNO3 is giving these two products. Now, percentage increase in oxygen in steam volatile product. I really doubt whether these products were given or not. A strong possibility that these might not be there. Then also, if you have read NCERT, you will form the same product. And further, to simplify the situation, they might have given the steam volatile. If you take steam volatile or non-steam volatile, again it has no impact because the molecular mass of the two will be same. Right? Now what is asked? Percentage increase in oxygen in steam volatile product with respect to phenol. So first we have to find what is the percentage of oxygen in phenol. What is the percentage of oxygen in phenol? So, it is 16 upon 94 into 100. That I think comes somewhere around 17. Okay. Moving to percentage of oxygen in nitrophenol. As I said, as steam volatile specifically if mentioned, then orthonitrophenol, or you can take any nitrophenol, molecular weight is same. So total there are 3 oxygen, right? So 48 upon roughly their atomic mass, if you will add up, it is molecular weight of orthonitro or paranitrophenol is 139.1. This comes on solving something like 34.5 percentage, right? Now, what is the increase? If I go for what is the increase, it is 34.5 minus 17, that is 17.5, right? So the percentage increase in oxygen we have got as 17.5, but they have said you have to mark your answer as multiplied by 10 to the power minus 1. Answer is 175. Absolutely correct. Moving to next question. Can I have a glass of water, please? Any? Sure. So let us move to this next question. What amount of residual will be produced on heating 2.76 gram of Ag2CO3? First, you need to know that if we heat Ag2CO3, what is the reaction? On heating Ag2CO3 as normal carbonates do, you may expect that first Ag2O and CO2 is formed. Give me a second. So Ag2CO3 को अगर हम heat करते हैं, we'll get Ag2O and CO2. But Ag2O is unstable thermally by itself. So it decomposes further to silver. So what is the product? What are the products? The products are 2 silver plus half O2 and CO2. Right? CO2 and O2 are gaseous products. They will be gone. We are asked only about the residual. Residue is only silver. Right? Calculation is quite simple because the molecular weight of Ag2CO3 is 276 gram. If I heat 276 gram, silver being 108, I am left with 108 into 2 grams of silver. But they are saying 2.76 gram of Ag2CO3 is heated. Well, if so, then I will be left with 2.16 gram of silver. 2.16 gram of silver will give you answer B. So, correct answer for this question is B. Okay. Let's move to next question. This is a simple one. You can save time from here and put to some more tough questions. This one. Consider the following reaction. See, this is N-propyl chloride, AlCl3. Probably heat must have also been there. Consider the following reaction, and as none is given, so I think and identify the incorrect statement. Okay, we had to identify the incorrect statement. Let us see. Isopropyl cation intermediate is formed. Well, yes, this is Friedel-Crafts alkylation. So when you treat this with AlCl3, we get first N-propyl carbocation. It rearranges to isopropyl carbocation. So this statement is true. Isopropyl cation intermediate is formed in the reaction. That is true. Isopropyl benzene is the major product. Yes, when this attack on benzene, we do get isopropyl benzene as a major product. This statement is also true. Rearrangement of carbocation occurs. Certainly, we just marked here rearrange, right? This is also true. The product is less reactive than benzene towards electrophilic aromatic substitution. That statement is false. Why? Alkyl is electron releasing in nature, and presence of electron releasing groups on benzene will increase its rate towards electrophilic aromatic substitution. And they are saying that this is going to be less reactive unto statement. Answer will be D. moving to next. Given below are two statements. Okay. Stability of carbocation is as follows. See, this one is a 3-degree carbanion, 2-degree carbanion, 1-degree carbanion. So, yes, this particular order of carbocation statement stability is correct. It is true. Stability of carbanion can be explained on the basis of inductive effect. Well, that is also true. We can have other impacts. We can have resonance. We can have aromaticity. Yes, that is true. We can have reverse hyperconjugation. But can it be explained by inductive effect? That statement in itself is true. It is not saying stability of carbanion can be explained only on the basis of inductive. Then it would have been an incorrect statement. But can be by this one, that also is correct. So both statement 1 and 2 are correct and answer for this should be A. Is that correct? Answer is A. So this many questions we had for now. Let's continue with other subjects till then.
Now, let's tackle some chemistry questions.
Welcome to Narayana Educational Institutions. We are ready with the memory-based solutions of JEE Mains April 5 Shift 1 papers. So let us go through the question. We have a question that 0.2 gram of an organic compound is subjected to estimation of sulfur by Carrier's method, giving 0.6 gram BaSO4, and we need to find out the percentage mass of sulfur in this question. So let us understand what happens in a Carrier's method. It is a method to determine the percentage mass of sulfur in which the organic compound containing sulfur is oxidized using HNO3, in which the impurities are obviously oxidized and the sulfur gets oxidized to H2SO4. Now this H2SO4 is treated with BaCl2 and our final product is BaSO4, which is obtained obviously as a PPT, which is dried and its mass is measured. Now if we see that 1 sulfur will produce 1 BaSO4, so 32 gram of sulfur will produce 233 gram of BaSO4. So let us try to understand that 233 gram BaSO4 is being produced from 32 gram sulfur. Now 1 gram of BaSO4, right, will be produced from 32 upon 233 gram of BaSO4. Now in this question we have been given 0.6 gram of BaSO4. So 0.6 gram of BaSO4 will give me in this case 0.6 gram of BaSO4 will give us 0.6 into 32 upon 233 gram of sulfur, right? So let us do this calculation and find out the answer. After solving we get the value of this expression, that is 0.0824 gram. So now we are supposed to find out the percentage mass of sulfur in the organic compound and we have the mass of sulfur. So the percentage mass of sulfur will be obviously mass of sulfur 0.0824 upon the mass of organic compound, which is 0.2 multiplied by 100. So if we solve this expression, the value comes out to be 41.2%. Now if we round off to the nearest integer, then the answer will be 41%. So that is the solution of this question. Now moving on to the next question, we have another question with us. We are supposed to compare the energy of orbitals for multi-electron species. Now for multi-electron species we have an off-Bohr principle in which this is basically n plus L rule, we can call Bohr-Burai rule. So the energy in the increasing order is arranged as per increasing values of n plus L. So if n plus L is high, energy in a multi-electron system for electrons is obviously high. If n plus L is same, then lower value of n has lower energy. Fine. So we need to find out n plus L in this case. So for option A, the value of n plus L is obviously 3 plus 0, 3. For option B, it is 3 plus 1, which is 4. For option C, it is 4 plus 2, which is 6. Now for option D, it is 3 plus 2, which is 5. So we are supposed to compare the energy, right? So the energy options can be compared. The highest energy is option C. Then second highest we have D. then third highest we have B, and the least value of N plus L is obtained in case of option A. So the correct response in this case is obviously C, highest energy, followed by D, then B, and then A. Fine. So let us move to the next question. The question is from chemical kinetics. The half-life of a first order reaction is 6.93 minutes. What is the time required in a minute to complete 90% of the reaction? We are supposed to answer in nearest integer. So now for a first order reaction, the half-life, or you can say T50%, is ln2 upon k, which will be 0.693 upon the rate constant k. Now this value is 6.93 minute. If I solve this, then the value of k will be 1 by 10 minute inverse. Now I am supposed to calculate the time which is required to complete 90% of the reaction, right? So T will be 1 upon k ln a naught upon at. Now at, let's say, at 90% reaction completion, if the reaction is completed 90%, then at that stage at will be a naught upon 10. There will be 10% a left, so we can substitute 1 by k into 2.303 log 10 a naught upon a naught by 10. So this should be 2.303 upon k log 10 to the base 10, which is obviously 1. So let us solve this expression. This T 90% will be 2.303 upon k. The value of k is obviously 1 by 10. So this should be 2.303 into 10, which is 23.03 minutes. Now we obviously need to find out the answer in the nearest integer. So our answer in this case is obviously 23. Okay. So let us move to the next question. This is our next question. The question is, how many compounds among the following have sp3 hybridization, sp3d, sorry, sp3d hybridization of the central atom? So in order to have sp3d hybridization, the steric number, that is bond pair plus lone pair, it should be how much? It should be 5. So if the bond pair plus lone pair is 5, then the hybridization will be sp3d. Now let us examine the options one by one. So if I have BrF5, in case of BrF5, bromine has 7 electrons. So bromine has 7 electrons and it has formed 5 bonds. So we will be obviously left with one lone pair. So how many bond pair plus lone pair over here? If you count the sum of bond pair and lone pair, Bp plus Lp, then in this case it will be 6, though hybridization will become sp3d2, right? Now in case of XeF5, there are around 8 electrons with fluorine and one additional negative charge is coming. So we will have 5 bond pair, fluorine will form 5 bonds, and we will have 4 electrons left, so we will have 2 lone pair. So steric number is obviously 7. In this case, it will be sp3d3. So this is incorrect, this is incorrect. Now let us consider ICl2 minus. Iodine over here has 7 electrons in the valence shell. When 1 electron is added, it becomes 8. Now if we form 2 bonds, 6 will be left. So we'll have 3 bond pair and 3 lone pair and 2 bond pair. So steric number in this case will be 5. Hybridization is sp3d. So this is obviously correct. Now if we consider ICl4 minus, right? So in case of ICl4 minus, again we'll have one negative charge, or we can say Cl minus is coordinate bonded to it. So it will again have 6 bond pair plus lone pair. So hybridization in this case will be sp3d2. This is again incorrect. Now let us consider SF4. Sulfur has 6 electrons in the valence shell. 4 are forming bonds. So obviously one lone pair is left. So SF4 has bond pair 4, lone pair 1. So obviously it is 5. This is again true. NH4 plus will be tetrahedral with 4 bond pair. So this is not true again. Now let us consider ClF3. Cl has 7 electrons in the valence shell. Now we have 3 bond pairs, right? So let us form the 3 bond pairs. We'll be left with the 2 lone pairs in this case. So again the steric number in this case is 5. Hybridization will be sp3d. Now consider, let us say we have to consider XeF2, right? So in case of XeF2, we will have 2 bond pairs and 3 lone pairs. So this, in this case, the hybridization still becomes sp3d because the steric number in this case is 5. Now let us consider one more example, which is XeF4. Now in case of XeF4, there will be 4 bond pairs, right? And there will be 2 lone pairs. So the hybridization in this case will be sp3d2. So let us count the number of responses that we have got. See, we have got ICl2 negative, then we have got SF4, then we have got ClF3 and XeF2. So the answer in this case is going to be 4, right? So let us move to the next question, which is given below are two statements. So statement 1 is K2Cr2O7 can be used as a primary standard. Let us understand what exactly is primary standard. Primary standard is a compound which is easily used in conducting volumetric titrations. It has certain conditions, like it should not react with air, it should have high molar mass so that the errors will be less, it should show color change, right, it should be soluble in water. So all these conditions are basically shown by KTCR2O7. It has high molar mass, it has high solubility in water, right, it does not absorb moisture from the air, so obviously the molar mass is also high, so there will be less measurement error, so obviously it can be used as a primary standard. So this is correct. Now, phenolphthalein, the question is a weak base indicator. See, phenolphthalein itself is an acid and that is why it ionizes in basic medium. The color of phenolphthalein, let's say I am writing phenolphthalein, it will be ionized and then pH minus will be pink. So see, basically it itself is an acid, that is why it gets ionized. It gets ionized in basic medium. Right, it ionizes in basic medium, but it is itself an acid, but it is written it is a weak base indicator, so obviously this statement is incorrect. So we have statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So these are the solutions of these questions. Thank you.
Now let's look at some questions from mathematics.
Hello students, JEE Main session 2, 5th April, shift 1. Today we are going to solve memory based questions that we have received so far from the students. So let's take question number 1 first, which seems to be an easy telescopic sum. Let's take this as S equal to 528. Let's take it outside of the summation, sigma n equal to 1 to 10, and easily this term can be converted into partial fraction n into n plus 1 minus 1 upon n plus 1 into n plus 2. Now simply this sum becomes telescopic. So once we have converted into two partial fractions, now easily in the lower side we'll put lower limit n equal to 1, on the higher side we'll put n equal to 10. So easily the sum will be calculated. So the answer will become 528 multiplied by just one factor of 2 must also be there to balance, because on taking LCM n plus 2 minus n will be there in the numerator. So the balancing factor 2 should be here on the denominator. So this will become 1 upon 1 into 2 minus 1 upon, put n equal to 10 here, this will become 11 into 12. So the answer should be 264 multiplied by taking LCM here, this will become 11 into 12. So LCM will be 66 minus 1. So our answer should be 264 multiply 65 divided by 11 into 22, 11 into 12. So calculating this easily cancels out with 22, 11 cancels out 22 with 2. So this will become 130. Easily we obtain option number 3. Let's take next question. Consider an equilateral triangle PQR where P is the point, QR is this line, orthocenter coordinates are required to find. Okay, so easy question again. Let's take point P as this point and QR equation is given, and we know this triangle is equilateral triangle. If the triangle is equilateral triangle, all the centers are lying on the same point, that means are coincident. So here if we need to find orthocenter, that will be same as centroid. Yes, that means we drop a perpendicular from vertex P on the side. So the foot of perpendicular, or this perpendicular, this altitude will also be angle bisector, will also be median. All these lines are also coincident for equilateral triangle. So easily we can say this line is median and centroid divides median in the ratio 2:1. So this is our process of calculating the orthocenter. So easily we can do that because equation of line is given as 4. Let's say the foot of perpendicular is n. So to find n first, let's instead of applying the foot of perpendicular formula, let's assume n as parametric point on this line, which can be easily taken as x, comma 4 minus x. Yes, now slope of this line and slope of this line both should be perpendicular to each other. Since QR slope is -1, so easily this line slope must be equal to 1. So here by writing slope in 2 points form, 4 minus x minus 5 upon x minus 3 will be equal to 1. So from here we get minus x minus 1 equal to x minus 3. Easily we get 2x equal to 2. So that means x equal to 1. So x equal to 1 is easily satisfying. So here the coordinates of n becomes 1 comma 3. Now applying section formula here to directly find coordinates of h, which are given as alpha comma beta, that must be equal to, taking alpha will be 2 times 1 multiplied by plus 2 times 1 plus 1 times 3 divided by 2 plus 1 3 comma coordinates, y coordinate of h, that will be 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1 times 5 plus 5 upon 3. So the coordinates of alpha h are alpha and beta, which are becoming 5 by 3 comma 11 by 3. So easily alpha plus beta becomes 16 by 3, but we need the value of 9 times alpha plus beta, which is becoming 48. So the answer should be option B. Again, easy approach. Very simple, straightforward question, conceptual question is given. So one more question, let's take next question here. Question number 3, integration question. Again, this question we can see in this, we may need to substitute x equal to 2 tan theta. As we are looking at the problem, this is easily becoming integrable by substituting this substitution. So which is also taught in standard formats, that this is substitution is usually used. So let's first before substituting, let's first differentiate, and let's see the value of dx is coming equal to 2 times secant square theta d theta. And similarly we also calculate the limits here. At x equal to 0 we are getting theta equal to 0, and at x equal to infinity we are getting theta equal to pi by 2. Easily we can deduce that by putting the value of x here. So now we convert the integral in terms of theta. So we are getting 0 to pi by 2 ln 2 times tan theta divided by 4 sec square theta. It will become, as we substitute x equal to 2 tan square theta, so this will become 4 sec square theta multiplied dx will become 2 times secant square theta d theta. So easily this is cancelable, and our integral becomes, let's call this as I. So integral becomes 1 by 2 times 0 to pi by 2 ln 2 tan theta. So ln 2 tan theta can also be written as ln 2 plus ln tan theta, and ln tan theta can also be written as ln sin theta minus ln cos theta. And all these integrals are having the same limit, 0 to pi by 2, 0 to pi by 2, dot d theta, dot d theta, dot d theta, 0 to pi by 2 limits for all. And we already know this thing, we already know that this integral and this integral both are equal. Yes, this is the standard knowledge. In common lectures it is told that it is easily told that this integral are equal, and we can also use the property for King property to convert them into each other. So we are left with only this integral, which is easily deducible, which is equal to ln2, which is constant. So theta will be after substituting limits, it will become pi by 2 minus 0, and this will become pi by 4 ln2. So easily we got option 1. So again, easy question, straightforward question JEE is asking in this session. Next slide, question number 4. Okay, Sn is the sum of first n terms of an AP. So Sn is given as 3n square plus 5n. Okay, for all n belong to natural number, of course. Then sum of the squares of the first 10 terms of the given AP is. Okay, so first we need to calculate Tn for that. If we need to find sigma Tn square for n equal to 1 to 10, then we need to find Tn first, and Tn can be easily calculated using formula Sn minus Sn minus 1 for any series. Yes, this formula is valid for any series, not just for AP. So we will get, by applying the sum, we will get 3n square minus n minus 1 whole square plus 5 times n minus 1. So we are getting here 3 times 2n minus 1 plus 5. Yes, so we are getting 6n plus 2, or we can say 3 times 2 times 3n plus 1. This is what we are getting here. Now, since we have got Tn, so we need Tn square. So Tn square is nothing but 4 times 3n plus 1 whole square, which is equal to 4 times 9n square plus 6n plus 1. Yes. Now next thing is to calculate sum of n terms, sum of first 10 terms of square series. Yes, so sum of 10 terms can be given as sigma n equal to 1 to 10 Tn square, which is 4 times 9n square plus 6n plus 1. After substituting the values sigma n square, sigma n and 1, will be easily getting the answer equal to 15220. That should be our required answer, which is given in option number 2. Next question. A set A is given as having 6 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Number of 1 functions from A to A. F of 1 is greater than equal to 3. That means f of 1 can take only 4 values, 3 4 5 6. F of 3 can take 4 values, 1 2 3 4, and f of 2 plus f of 3 has to be equal to 5. So let's first consider the restrictions. Okay, so f of 4, f of 5 and f of 6 are not causing any restrictions. Only restrictions are caused by these three. So first we take care of the restriction f of 2 plus f of 3 equal to 5, and we also know that f of 3 can only take values 1 2 3 or 4. So one by one we assign the values to f of 3. Once we assign 1 2 3 and 4, when we assign 1 to f of 3, then automatically, since their sum has to be 5, so f of 4 has to be 4, f of 2 has to be 4. In this case, when f of 3 is 2, f of 2 has to be 3. Similarly, for 3 it has to be 2, for 4 it has to be 1. Now two options, since it is a 1 function, so two options are already blocked in each case. Let, for example, f of 1 can take values, f of 1 can take values 3 4 5 and 6. In this case, among these values 4 has been already blocked by 2. That's why f of 1 has only 3 options, either it can take value 3 or 5 or 6. Yes, similarly for 3 and 2, second case, 3 has been blocked here. If 3 has been blocked, that means f of 1 can take only values 4 5 6, and similarly in third case also 3 is blocked, so it can take 3 values, and again in the fourth case 4 is blocked, so it can take 3 values. Now we have a total of 1 for f of 1, 1 for f of 2 and 1 for f of 3. 3 elements of codomain have been blocked. It can be any 3, we are not sure which one, because in each case all 3 will be different, but we are sure that 3 elements will be still outside free, so which has to be distributed among f of 4, f of 5 and f of 6. That means easily we can do that using 3 factorial, that is 6. So here we have to calculate how many total number of ways in these all cases. So in the first case we have 3 3 3. So in this case we can say we have a total of 3 into 4, 12 option multiplied by 6, which should be 72. So our required answer must be option B, 72.
Let us now explore a few questions from physics.
Hello everyone, we will be discussing the 5th April session 1 physics paper, and the first question is from Newton's laws. So this is a simple question based on finding the value of tension. So we know that tension in a string can be written as, in a Atwood machine, can be written as 2 m1 m2 into g by m1 plus m2. So here m2 can be taken as 6 plus 4 kg and m1 is 4 kg. So the tension T1 can be written as 2 into 10 into 4 by into G by 10 plus 4, which would be giving us 80G by 14, or T1 value is 40G by 7. Now, in order to find tension T2, we can find acceleration of the blocks and then draw the free body diagram for the 6 kg block. So, acceleration is unbalanced mass, unbalanced weight divided by total mass. So, the unbalanced mass is 10 minus 4 into G by 14, which would be 6G by 14, which is 3G by 7 meter per second square. So, now if we want to find tension T2, draw the free body diagram for 6 kg. So, the 6G is here, and T2 is acting upward, and acceleration is in downward direction. So, we can write 6G minus T2 is equals to 6 into A. So, T2 value would be 6 into G minus A, which would be 6 into G minus 3G by 7. So, which would be giving us 24G by 7. So, the ratio of T1 by T2 would be 40G by 7 divided by 24G by 7. So, which would be giving us as 7 and 7 would be getting cancelled, G and G will be getting cancelled, and 8 5 is 40, 8 3 is 24. So, we will be getting 5 by 3. So, the correct answer for this problem is 5 by 3. So, then let us go to the next problem. And this is a simple problem from current electricity. How do we solve this problem? Here we can assume that all the 3 batteries are in parallel. So, the equivalent EMF when they are in parallel is summation of EI by RI divided by summation of 1 by RI. So, the equivalent EMF in this case is 15 by 3 plus 15 by 3 plus 15 by 3 divided by 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, which would be giving us as 15 by 1 volts. So, this is the equivalent EMF, and the equivalent internal resistance is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, which would be giving us as 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3. So, this would make R equivalent to be 1 ohm. So, now we can replace the given circuit with this reduced circuit as 15 volt battery with internal resistance 1 ohm, and the total 3 and 3 are in series, it would be making 6 ohm. So, this is A and B. So, the current in AB would be EMF by R net. So, which would be giving us as 15 by 7 ampere. So, the correct option is D. So, then next let us see the third question. So, this is a simple problem from optics, and they are asking for us minimum deviation. So, let us see how do we find minimum deviation. So, when there is minimum deviation is minimum, then angle of incidence and angle of emergence are same, and the two refracting angles are same and is equals to half the prism angle. So, which would be giving us R is equals to R1 equals to R2 equals to 60 by 2, which is 30 degrees. And then apply the Snell's law. So, if we apply the Snell's law here, So we have I, this is R1, R2 and E. So since R1 and R2 are same and is equals to 30 degrees, and we can apply the Snell's law here. And before applying the Snell's law, we need refractive index. The definition of refractive index is speed of light in vacuum by speed of light in the medium. So which will be giving us 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 2 into 10 to the power of 8, which would be giving us 3 by 2. Now if we apply the Snell's law, 1 into sin I is equals to 3 by 2 into sin R1, which is 30 degree. So I value would be sin inverse 3 by 4. So we got the value of I. Now what would be the value of delta? So the value of delta is I plus E minus A. So for delta minimum, so this can be written as 2 into 2i minus A, which would be nothing but 2 into sin inverse 3 by 4 minus 60 degrees. So which would be giving us the option D as the correct answer. So next let us see the next question, and this is a very simple question from units and dimensions. So here we don't have to solve for all the options. Suppose if you look at the second option, this is a quality factor. And quality factor does not have any dimensions, so no dimension, so we don't have to check for second option. Now let us check for first option. If we are able to check for first option, first and third option are almost similar, so it would be easier for us to, we can eliminate either of those options, or we would be getting one of the options in this one. So let us see R by root LC. So how do we solve this? We know that angular frequency in the LC circuit is 1 by root LC. So which means the 1 by root LC has dimensions of frequency, and resistance is V by I. Potential difference is nothing but work done per unit charge divided by I. So this can be written as R by root LC can be written as work done by Q into I into T inverse. 1 by root LC is T inverse. So this can be written as work done is, dimensions of work done is M L square T power minus 2 divided by Q can be written as current into time into I into T power minus 1. So this would be giving us ml square I power minus 2 and T power minus 4, or I here is represented as ampere, which is given as a power minus 2. We can write this as ml square a power minus 2 and T power minus 4. So luckily we got the first option itself as the correct answer. So let us see the next problem. So this is another problem from gravitation, and how does the gravity would vary with height? So the gravity varies as g at a height h is g into 1 minus 2h by r, and gravity at depth d is g into 1 minus d by r. So here the question is, they are asking us to compare the gravity at a height 16 km above the earth's surface and at a depth 16 km below the earth's surface. So we can write this ratio as gh by gd. Ga by gb is nothing but gh by gd, which is nothing but g into 1 minus 2 into 16 by, the radius of earth is 6400 divided by g into 1 minus 16 by 6,400. G will be getting cancelled, and 16 and this would be 400 times. This would be 400 times. So we will be getting the ratio of GA by GB as 1 minus 2 by 400 divided by 1 minus 1 by 400. So which is 398 by 400 divided by 399 by 400, which would be coming out as 398 by 399. So the correct option would be option C. So then let us see the next problem. So here the Young's modulus of a wire is given as Y, and if the material is kept constant and they are stretching the wire, the wire radius is doubled and while the length is half. So we know that Young's modulus is a property of a material, because Young's modulus is property of a material. Young's modulus is property of a material. So because it is property of a material, it does not change with changing the dimensions of the material. So that's why its Young's modulus will still be Y. So this is a simple problem from mechanical properties of matter. So then let us go to the next one, and this is one more simple problem from inductors. So there are two inductors, L2 and L3 are in parallel and in series with L1. So what is the equivalent inductance in parallel? So the equivalent inductance in parallel is L1 L2 by L1 plus L2 in parallel, and in series equivalent inductance is L1 plus L2. So based on this we can easily solve for current energy stored here. Initially equivalent inductance is L1 plus L2 into L3 by L2 plus L3. So this would give us L plus L into L by L plus L, which would be giving us 3L by 2. So the energy stored is E1 value is half 3L by 2 into I square. Now one more variable they are asking us is energy stored in L2. So this I would come here and then it would divide into two parts. Because the inductors are equal, the current will be also divided into two equal parts. So the energy stored in L2 is half L into I by 2 whole square. So which would be giving us L I square by 8. So therefore E1 by E2 will be giving us 3 by 4 Li square divided by Li square by 8, which would be giving us the value of 6. So the correct answer is first option. Okay, let us see the next problem. So this is one more simple problem from wave optics and it is based on YDSC. In YDSC, what would happen? The fringe width is given as lambda capital D by small d, where lambda is the wavelength of the light used. But wavelength of the light depends on the medium. Wavelength in a medium is lambda by nu. So based on this, so this is the fringe width. Fringe width in air is given as 2.4 micrometer. So the fringe width in the medium would be lambda capital D by nu d. So which is nothing but 2.4 by 1.2. So which would be giving us 1.2 micrometer. So this would be the correct answer for the.
Let us now explore a few questions from physics.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will further take the discussion. We are discussing the first shift paper, and here goes this question. Well, this is a multi-conceptual question. It needs you to know little bit of electrostatics and de Broglie's wavelength. So let me read the wording of the question. It says, in a region where electric field exists, so there is a region in a space where there is electric field and it is in minus x direction. So let us consider to the right as plus x direction. So electric field is to the left and it's constant, right? It's E naught value. Initially at t equal to 0, the particle, now in case this particle is a positively charged particle, it's not mentioned whether it is a positively charged particle or negatively charged particle, because electric field will accordingly apply force. If it is a positively charged particle, electric field will apply force to the left, and if it is a negatively charged particle, electric field will apply force to the right. So we'll take it to be a positively charged particle, and this charged particle is projected towards right with a speed of 4v0. So this positively charged particle is going to experience force to the left, so it's going to retard. So its speed is first going to decrease and come to halt for a momentary instant, and then it's going to go back to the left with increasing speed. We have to find its de Broglie's wavelength as a function of time. So all of us know that de Broglie's wavelength is h divided by momentum, where v is the velocity of the particle at any instant. So this velocity we are going to calculate from kinematics. V is equivalent to u plus at. We know that acceleration is constant because the force exerted by electric field on the positively charged particle is q into e, which is to the left. Okay, so v is equivalent to u is 4v0, and our force is to the acceleration is minus qe by m into t. QE is the force and m is the mass of the particle. We're going to substitute it here and we should have the answer. So lambda is equivalent to h divided by m. In place of velocity, we are going to write 4v0 minus qe by m into t. So just simplifications we need to make. We need to replace h divided by 4m v0 with lambda naught. So further simplification is as we can write it h divided by 4m v0. I'm going to take that as common. It's 1 minus. Important thing to understand in the question is that all the options are in terms of lambda naught. So we need to even eliminate v naught, which we are going to get in this term. So it's qe by qet divided by m, and that will be another is 4v0. We had taken 4v0 as common. So h by 4m v0 will be replacing that with lambda naught. So it's lambda naught divided by 1 minus qet, we're going to write as it is. 4m v0, we are going to write that as h. Okay, 4m v0, you can see we're going to write that as h by lambda naught. So 4m v0 will be replaced with h by lambda naught. So it's like this. So the final answer is going to be lambda naught h divided by h minus QET lambda naught. Okay, so you can see that option 2 is the correct answer. So it was a pretty simple, straightforward question, just needed to do little bit of manipulation. Let us go to the next question. And now this question is a very basic question from rotational motion. This question is based on moment of inertia. The question says a moment of inertia of uniform rod about an axis passing through a point at a distance L by 4 from the center perpendicular to rod is. So there is a rod of length L. Now this is the axis which is passing through the center of mass. We know that about this axis the moment of inertia is ml square by 12 if it is a uniform rod. But he's asking us to find moment of inertia about an axis which is parallel to this axis and it is at a distance of L by 4 from this axis. So this is a simple question based on parallel axis theorem. We have to find moment of inertia about this axis. So parallel axis theorem says that if you know the moment of inertia about center of mass axis, then any axis parallel to center of mass axis, moment of inertia is I equal to ICM plus MD square, where D is the perpendicular distance between the two axes. So I is equal to, it is ml square by 12 plus m, d is L by 4. So L by 4 whole square is L square by 16. So if we do the little bit of simplification, it is ml square. It is 1 by 12 plus 1 by 16, and simplification will give you the answer as 7 by 48 ml square. That you can work out yourself. Another very simple straightforward question. Now this question also is a very straightforward question. For a wave, equation is given by, so there is a equation of a plane progressive wave is given. The standard equation of a plane progressive wave is y is equivalent to a sine omega t plus or minus kx plus or minus phi. Now you can see that this is a wave which is traveling in plus x direction, right? And we are supposed to find the distance between two consecutive crusts. Now the distance between two consecutive crusts is nothing but wavelength. That's the definition, right? So we are supposed to find the wavelength, and if you compare the given equation with the standard equation, you can immediately see k, which is propagation constant, is 0.018, right? So k, which is 2 pi by lambda, that is equivalent to 18 into 10 power minus 3. So 2 1 hour, 2 9 hour, so it is pi by 9 into 10 power minus 3 is equivalent to lambda. So it's 1000 by 9, which means option 3. So it's a very straightforward question. Now this question is based on thermodynamics. It is a conceptual question. It states that in a thermodynamics with the usual symbols, it has given us two expressions. Apparently the first expression is given that for internal energy, because delta U usually means change in internal energy. Well, change in internal energy is a state function, and from law of equipartition of energy, we know that change in internal energy is NCB delta T. It doesn't depend upon the path through which the gas is taken, through which the system is taken from its initial to final state. So this cannot be the formula of change in internal energy. You know, this in this formula it says that change in internal energy depends upon gamma. Gamma depends upon the path. So obviously this can't be the formula. So this is wrong. In case the question was in case in place of delta U there was Q, then this expression is correct, because this expression is first law of thermodynamics for polytropic process. You know, the heat given to the system is equivalent to change in internal energy plus work done by the gas. You know, for polytropic process, work done by the gas is nR delta T into x minus 1, where x is a polytropic constant. So because it is given that it is delta U, obviously this is not the correct formula. As far as the second expression goes, it is a standard expression and it is obviously correct. It relates specific heat with degree of freedom. Let me very quickly present to you the derivation of this. We know specific heat is Cp by Cv, right? And we also know that Cv is F by 2R. F is the degree of freedom and Cp is Cv plus R, right? So it is F by 2 plus 1 divided by F by 2, which is 1 plus 2 by F. This is gamma. And if you see, the given equation is just the same equation rearranged. So expression 2 is correct, expression 1 is wrong. So apparently second option is the correct option. Now this question is another basic question from kinematics. It says a ball is dropped from a height of 18 meters. So we have a ball here. It is dropped from a height of 18 meters. Find the distance of the ball from the ground. So at some instant the ball is here. We have to find its distance from the ground. Let me call that distance as y. Find the distance of ball from the ground where the speed of the ball becomes equal to the magnitude of acceleration. So we have to find the y where it is speed is equal to g, right? 10, where the speed is 10. So it's quite obvious this will happen after 1 second. So, if you drop the ball from rest, in every 1 second it gains a speed of 10. So after 1 second it is going to happen. But anyways, he is not asking the time at which this thing will happen. He's asking the distance of the ball from the ground. So this question we can simply do from this formula: v square minus u square equal to 2as. So u is 0, v is given as g, right? U is 0. Acceleration is also g, right? And s, well, s is the displacement. Let us find s. S is the displacement, and once you know the displacement can be written as 18 minus y. So g and g will cancel out. So s is equivalent to 5. So this distance is 5. So after 5 meters, after freely falling through a height of 5 meters, it gains a speed of 10 meter per second, which means from the ground this height must be 13, right? 18 minus 5, that's 13. Very simple, straightforward question. This question is based on the basic definition of modulus of rigidity. So here what is happening is that to a cube which is fixed beneath, the questioner is applying a tangential force. So due to tangential force, there is a change in the shape, and we define modulus of rigidity to be tangential force per unit area. Now this is a cube, so area will be L square, divided by the strain, shear strain. Shear strain is defined as this angle, and we can write this angle. Shear stress is defined, shear strain actually is defined as this angle. Greater this angle, more is the strain due to this force, and this angle can easily be written as x by L, for small values of this angle, x by L. So we can write this as x upon L. Now we are supposed to find this value of x. So I think if you substitute it, we'll going to get the answer as B, I think. I mean, very simple calculation is there. One of the L's will cancel out. In place of another L, you're going to write 5 into 10 power minus 2. Eta is given 10 power 5. So 10 power minus 2, 10 power 5 will be at 10 power 3. So I think second is the correct answer. Now this question is based on logic gates. So we have an OR gate here. There is an AND gate here. And there is another AND gate here. What's the question? The question is, we have two inputs, A and B. So output of the OR gate, so the output here will be A or B, right? This is A or B. So for this LED to be on, either A or B has to be high. So even if A is 1 and B is 0, or A is 0, B is 1, we'll have LED 1 will be on. So in all the options, if you see, we are either having A11, A10, 10, 01. So in all the options, LED 1 is switched on. I mean, in all the options, all options are satisfying LED 1. As far as LED 2 goes, for that, we have to see what is the output here. So this is A or B, and after passing through AND gate, it becomes A and A or B. So a little simplification I'm going to do. It is A and A or A and B, right? A and A is A. It's like 1 and 1, that's 1. And it is A and B. We can take A out. It is 1 or B. So 1 or B is, I mean, regardless of whether B is 1 or 0, it is always going to be 1, right? So it is going to be A. So here the output will be A, and here we have C. So after passing through AND gate, we are going to have A and C. So both the A and C need to be high for LED 2 to be on. A and C need to be high. You can see option 1 is not satisfying. In option 1, A is high, C is low. Option 2 also not satisfying. Option 4 also not satisfying. I think 3 is the correct answer, because in 3 we are having A and C high, which we need for LED 2 to be switched on, while as for LED 1 to be switched on, it doesn't depend upon C signal, it just depends on A and B signal, and either of them should be high, as in option 3, A is high. Now this question is based on atoms. It's a very simple question. We all know that if we have to excite the electron from a lower energy level to higher energy level, we need to supply radiation, we need to supply photon. So, and the energy of that photon should be equal to the difference in the energy. So here we know the energy of photon is hc by lambda. That should be equal to energy of the 16th orbit minus energy of the 4th orbit. Energy of the 16th orbit can be written as minus 13.6 electron volt divided by 16 square for hydrogen atom, minus 13.6 z square by n square. Z is 1. Minus energy of the 4th orbit is minus 13.64 square into electron volt. And Hc value we are told is 1240 nanometer electron volt divided by lambda. Lambda is the wavelength of light which we need, wavelength of photon which we need. I think if you do the calculation isn't that difficult. If you work out the calculation here, It's pretty simple. I think the answer will come out to be 1. You just need to work out the calculation. It's a straightforward question. You just have to do some simple calculation to figure this out. I mean, if you have to take electron from lower energy level to higher energy level, we need to supply photon. And that photon's wavelength cannot be any wavelength. It needs to have some discrete wavelength. And when electron de-excites from higher energy level to lower energy level, it will emit that photon. Now this question is based on vernier caliper. Again, a very simple question, a straightforward question. It is a standard vernier caliper, by the way. It is given that 10 vernier scale divisions is equivalent to 9 main scale divisions. So that means one vernier scale division will be 9 by 10 main scale division. One main scale division is 1 millimeter. So one vernier scale division is 0.9 millimeter. So vernier scale division is smaller compared to the main scale division. Now he's saying when the two jaws are together, that means he's checking for error. If, in case the 0 of the main scale and the 0 of the vernier scale coincide, we know that it is there is no error if the 0 of the main scale and the 0 of the vernier scale coincide. In case 0 of the main scale, 0 of the vernier scale is to the right of the 0 of the main scale, well, there is an error. That's a positive error, and that error is this length. And that's what is happening in this question. We can see when no reading is taken, the 0 of the vernier scale is just right of the 0 of the main scale. And he's claiming that 7th vernier scale division. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. 7th vernier scale division is coinciding with some main scale division. We have to find this error, right? So error will be like this distance minus this distance. First thing you have to understand is that it is a positive error. So options 2 and 3 are eliminated. As far as error goes, so to find the 0 error, we have main scale reading. Main scale reading plus least count into vernier scale reading. Now main scale reading means reading of main scale just to the left of the 0 of the main scale. So just to the left of the 0 of the main scale, there is 0 of main scale. Just to the left of the vernier scale, there is 0 of the main scale. Plus least count. Well, least count of a standard vernier caliper is 1 MSD minus 1 VSD. 1 MSD is 1 millimeter, 1 VSD is 0.9 millimeter, so it is 0.1 millimeter. And vernier scale reading is given as 7th. 7th division is matching. So the answer of this question is 0.7 mm. That's the answer of the question. So positive error 0.7 mm. So you need to subtract this in your final reading, whatever reading this vernier scale is going to give you. Thank you very much.
And now let's tackle some chemistry questions.
Hello, so we are back with some more organic questions, and definitely these questions are of good level. So we need to discuss in detail. Let's start with this first particular question. Consider the following sequence of reactions. So you have to know several reactions, but the easy ones though. First is the alcoholic KOH. When they are saying alcoholic KOH, what reaction we have to do? With aqueous KOH, we do substitution, and with alcoholic KOH, we have to do elimination. So this is E2 reaction and elimination is done. Okay, let me write it again here. Right, so it is elimination, and let us erase what we wrote here as it is getting under our logo. Now coming back, so alcoholic KOH is forming styrene, PHCH double bond CH2. Now they are saying treat this product with H3O plus. So it is like dilute H2SO4. You have to go for the stable carbocation and then add water. So this is what is formed after H3O plus. Then they say treat it with PCC. PCC, as you know, is so important in NCERT syllabus. So what does it do? It oxidizes alcohols to aldehyde and ketone. 1 degree alcohol to aldehyde, 2 degree to ketone, and 3 degree no reaction. So which alcohol is this? 2 degree. What should I expect? A ketone. What is the structure? This is what I expect as a structure or a product. They are asking the major final product P is. Why the word major? Because at this place you could have had a 1 degree alcohol also. If you go for that, then it could be more than one correct answer. So clearly mention major product. Third, our answer to this question is third. Okay, moving to next question. And certainly this is very detailed question. You need to know in detail about this particular compound and its behavior. Consider the following statement. Glucose exists in two anomeric forms. Well, yes, glucose exists in two anomeric forms, OH, 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 CH2OH, H. Let us place H at all other places. This is our beta anomer. Okay, and if this anomeric OH is changed to this position, then the new structure I am drawing currently is the alpha anomer of glucose. So, in the cyclic structure, glucose do exhibit two different structures. One is the alpha anomer, one is the beta anomer. Okay, so first statement, glucose exists in two anomeric. Why the word anomeric? What is an anomer? So if you compare these two structures, you will find there is only one point of difference, this carbon. Okay, only one point of difference in configuration where I have marked star. Rest all configuration are identical. So such two diastereomers which have point of difference at only one chiral center are called epimers. See, I am not calling anomers now, epimers. And if these epimers are of the type that this point of difference in open chain structure is a chiral and in the cyclic structure it is becoming chiral. Okay, this marked, yellow marked, star marked points or carbons, you see, if I draw its open chain structure, let me draw it for you too. This is the open chain structure, right, left, right, right. So if you see, this is our carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is carbon number 1 here. So see, this particular carbon is achiral in open chain and is becoming chiral in cyclic. Such diastereomers, such epimers are called anomers. So this first statement, glucose exists in two anomeric form, is true. That is correct statement. Moving to second, melting point of alpha anomer is greater than beta anomer. Well, that is false. Beta anomer will have higher melting point. If I remember it correctly, it is somewhere around 417 Kelvin. And this is somewhere around 407 Kelvin. So, beta anomer has higher melting point. Specific rotation of alpha anomer is 19 degree and of beta is 112. This statement is also false because they have just reversed it. Beta anomer has 19 and alpha anomer has 112. So, it is just inverted properties, crossed they have properties. Alpha and beta anomers are made at temperature 303 Kelvin and 370 Kelvin, where I can't help it there, but if you would go through the biomolecules chapter from NCERT, there is this point given when they are defining mutarotation and the properties of the cyclic structure, how to prepare alpha and beta anomers from concentrated sugar solutions. From there you will find that yes, alpha is prepared at lower temperature and beta is prepared at higher temperature. So that statement is true. Conclusion, which two statements finally are true is A and D. So A, B, C, wrong. A and D, A and D, yes. So answer for this question is B. Okay, you have to be very thorough with the chapter, only then you can attempt this type of detailed question. It appears to be single correct, but in what should I say, disguise of single correct, it is a multi-correct question. Moving to next question, NaOBr on amide. Which reaction is this? It is, it is haloform? No, Which reaction? Hoffman bromamide, right? The reagent is same, but this reagent when taken on methyl ketones, then it would be Hoffman, then it would be haloform. On amides, it is Hoffman bromamide rearrangement. And what happens in Hoffman bromamide rearrangement? It is a step down reaction and we have one carbon less amine. So this CO2 will be gone. We will have CH2 NH2. Now if it is CH2 NH2, the question says primary aromatic amine. No, it is a primary amine, but it is aliphatic. Why? Because NH2 is connected to this sp3 carbon. If NH2 was connected to the aromatic ring, then primary aromatic amine would have been true. So it is primary aliphatic amine which is formed. And if so, then this statement is false. Moving to the next statement. Statement 2, aniline can be prepared by Gabriel Thelimide. First, let us revise what is Gabriel Thelimide. We have Thelimide, right? We take acid-base reaction and form its imide, anion, N minus. Then we take it to alkyl halide, and when we take it to alkyl halide, we have NR. Now this reaction is SN2 and then we hydrolyze it and we have benzoic acid and primary amine RNH2. So Gabriel Thelimide is a method for preparation of only primary amines, but it certainly involves SN2 pathway. If it involves SN2, then the alkyl halide required should be capable of SN2. Now in the statement 2, they say they want to make this as product, right? So see, if amine is RNH2, then the alkyl halide used is RX. So for this, the alkyl halide to be used is aryl halide, right? It is PHX, but it do not give SN2 reaction. And if it do not give SN2 reaction, then reaction will fail for this particular preparation. So yes, it is a primary amine, but we cannot prepare this particular amine by Gabriel Thelimide. So this statement is also false. So now I have to search. Both statement 1, statement 2 are incorrect, and thus answer for this question is D. Clear? Moving to next. The order of acidic strength of 0.1 molar aqueous solution of following is. So the concentration is equal. Now it is directly asking which one is acting as a stronger acid, whose pK value will be lower, K value will be higher. Yes, we may not remember that whose value will be more or less, but as far as general idea is concerned, you all know organic acids are weaker acid than most of the inorganic acids. Some of the acids which are inorganic and are weaker than organic carboxylic acids are like H3BO3, HCN, alright. Those are the few where our organic acids are the winners. Otherwise, they are always in the last. Taking this point into consideration, A should be in the last. So, second and third, these two options we can eliminate. Now, in B and C, if you remember, for oxyacids, right? For oxyacids, we say higher the oxidation state of central atom, higher is not pK, Ka. Higher is the Ka of the acid. Higher is K of acid, right? So it becomes a stronger acid. But there is only one exception. Which exception are the phosphorus acids, right? In which with increase in oxidation state of the central atom, their Ka also goes down, because the increase in oxidation state is not with increase in minus R effect, but with rather a plus R effect. So as you can see, phosphorus here is in lower oxidation state, this is higher. So B has to be greater than C, right? If B is greater than C, so first is the appropriate answer, as A is in the last, B is greater than C, and so let us conclude 1 is our answer. Okay, so that is all about the questions we got till now. Be in there and wait for more questions.
And now, let's tackle some chemistry questions.
Welcome to Narayana Educational Institutions. We have a question with us from JEE Main Chemistry. The question is, pH of 10 raised to the power of -7 molar aqueous, or you can say equivalent KOH solution at 25 degrees Celsius is. So over here, KOH is a strong base, so it will dissociate to produce K plus and OH minus. Now the concentration of KOH is obviously 10 raised to the power of -7. So upon dissociation, it will produce 10 raised to the power of -7 molar OH minus. Now H2O, it will be dissociated into H plus and OH minus. Concentration of H plus coming from H2O is, let's say, X. So the concentration of OH minus coming from H2O will again be X. Now the concentration of OH minus coming from KOH is obviously 10 raised to the power of -7. So the net concentration of OH minus in this case, it is X plus 10 raised to the power of -7. Now, since the concentration of OH minus is more than 10 raised to the power of -7, so this solution obviously will be basic and its pH will obviously be greater than 7, slightly greater than 7. So the correct response in this case is option C. Right, let us move to the next question. Now we have two statements. In an octahedral complex, each electron in T2G orbital stabilizes by 0.4 times delta O, and that of EG orbital destabilizes by 0.6 delta O. So let us understand, let's say I have degenerate d orbital. Now if I place 6 ligands, then obviously the degeneracy will be disturbed. It will be split into two set of orbitals. The one with the lower energy is called T2G, and the one with the higher energy is called EG. Now, as per conservation of energy, these three orbitals, their energy will be decreased by an extent 0 minus 0.4 times delta O, and these two orbitals, their energy will increase by an extent plus 0.6 delta O per orbital, right? So, obviously the energy of T2G orbital will be decreased and that of EG orbital will get increased, right? So the statement itself is saying in octahedral complexes, each electrons in T2G orbital stabilizes, this is correct, and that of EG orbital destabilizes, this is again correct. Now the second option or the second statement is all d orbitals are of the same energy, this is true initially, but after complex formation, its degeneracy is getting disturbed. So obviously both the statements are correct in this question. Now, let us go to the statement. The order of electronegativity is FON. This is obviously correct. In OF2, if we talk about OF2, so in OF2, the oxygen will have an oxidation state +2. This is correct. And in N2O, nitrogen will be +1 and oxygen will be -2. So in this case, both the statements, that is 1 and 2, both are correct. So let us go to the next question. The next question is, arrange the following mixtures in the increasing order of pH, right? So we have to arrange them in the order of increasing pH. So we should start with lowest pH and then we should go to the highest pH. So let us go through them one by one. So in the option A, I have 10 ml and the solution is decimolar, and 1 by 10 molar HCl plus 10 ml 1 by 10 molar CaOH whole twice. So now in this case, the concentration, or you can say the number of equivalents of acid, will be 10 into 1 by 10, which is 1. If I had to find out the number of equivalents of base, then it should be 2, which is the N factor of calcium hydroxide, multiplied by 10 into 1 by 10. So this should be 2. So as we can see, the concentration of base in this case is higher. So the concentration of OH minus in this case will be 2 minus 1 upon the net volume, which is 20 liter, 20 ml. So in this case, it will be 1 by 20, or you can say 0.05, right? The concentration of OH minus in this case is 0.05. Now let us go through the option B, in which the concentration of H plus, or I can say the NAVA part. The NAVA part is again 10 into 1 by 10, which is 1. Now let us find out NBVB OH minus. In this case, NBVB will be 2 times 1 by 10 into 25, right? So it should be how much? In this case, it will be 5. So obviously in this case again OH minus is greater, so it should be 5 minus 1 upon the net volume, which is 10 plus 25, which will be 4 by 35. Now if I solve this, this value will be approximately 0.11. Now in the third option, we only have two acids, right? So obviously it will be acidic, and as we can see, options A and B are basic, and the concentration of OH minus is obviously greater in B. So if we have to compare the pH, it will be least for C, and OH minus is highest in case of option B, so B will be highest. So this will be the answer, C followed by A and then B. This will be most acidic, this will be most basic. So highest pH will be of B and the lowest pH will be of option C. So the correct response in this case is obviously option C. Let us go through the next question. The question is, calculate mole fraction of water in a 10% weight by weight solution of urea, right? And they have given it in a way that x into 10 raised to power minus 3, and we are supposed to calculate x. So 10% weight by weight urea means we have 10 gram urea plus 90 gram of water. So the number of moles of urea, if I have find out, this will be 10 upon 60. So this will be 1 by 6, this will be 1.166 recurring form, and the number of moles of water in this case, it will be 90 upon 18, which will be 5. Now we have to find out mole fraction of water. They're asking about water. So mole fraction of water, mole fraction of water. So I can write this will be mole fraction of water plus upon mole fraction of water plus that of urea. So this expression comes out to be 5 upon 5.166. Now this 5 upon 5.166 can be written as x upon 1000 because it is 10 raised to power minus 3. So the value of x will be 5000 upon 5.166. Now if you solve this expression, we find out the value. This will be approximately 968. This will be approximately 968. So this is the answer to this question. Thank you.
Now let's look at some questions from mathematics.
Next question, JEE Main session 2, 5th April. Next question we have 10a plus 10b are the roots of this equation and find the value. So this seems to be very easy question, but there is just one little trick that you have to just be careful while using the values. Say in the first step, we are easily able to calculate sum of the roots from the equation and product the roots. Easily we are here with the values 10a plus 10b and 10a multiplied 10b equal to minus 5. Now next part, to calculate the value of this expression, which can be easily written as 2 sin a square a plus b by 2, using half angle formula we will be able to reduce it into 1 minus cos a plus b. Yes. Now by getting these values, we are able to directly get the value of tan a plus b. Yes, tan a plus b is nothing but tan a plus tan b upon 1 minus tan a tan b. So this is clearly 1 by 3. So from here, if I get cos a plus b, its value must be plus minus 3 by root 10. Yes. So the only trick is to check if the value is positive or the value is negative. So this is the only trick in this question, because let's first check the answer according to both values. 1 minus, see if I put plus minus 3 by root 10 here, yes, by multiplying with 10 we will be able to get 10 plus minus 3 root 10. Yes. So since both these answers are given in one of the options, so that's the only problem. So that's why we have to first be careful about which one of the values has to be used. So now if we look at the sum of 10a plus 10b and product of 10a plus 10b, then we can see that if sum is positive and product is negative, that means one root is positive, one root is negative, and the positive root is greater than the negative roots. That's why we can say tan a is definitely in magnitude greater than 10p. Yes, in magnitude this is greater. So if we look at the answer, if it is a positive root, then let's say it is coming somewhere here in the first quadrant, and negative root must be in magnitude smaller than this as compared to this. So if we will take the difference, or sorry, in this case we are taking this sum. So if we are adding angle A plus angle B here, because angle A is positive and angle B is negative, so we can easily see that A plus B will lie in the first quadrant. If A plus B will be lying in the first quadrant, then we must see that the value of cos A plus B must also be positive. So in this case the answer should be 10 minus 3 root 10, because 1 minus is already there. That's why the positive value, negative value should be rejected. So the answer should be given according to the positive value. The answer should be option number 4. Yes. Next question. See, this question is a very simple question based on reduction formula. See, pi by 6 to pi by 3 limits. First part can be reduced as 4 secant raised to the power 4x minus second part as integral pi by 6 to pi by 3 1 upon sin square x cos raised to power 4x. There is also a little trick. This 1 can be written as sin square x plus cos square x dx. Yes. So in this case, first part can be solved using the reduction formula. Reduction formula for secant raised to power nx. Yes, reduction formula for secant raised to power nx dx is directly given by secant raised to power n minus 2x multiply 10x divided by n minus 1 plus n minus 2 upon n minus 1 integral secant raised to power n minus 2x dx. Yes, so integral has been reduced by 2 powers. Yes, and this part is already integrated. Yes, so using this reduction formula we can directly come to the result that next step for this will be 4 times bracket first term this, here n is working as 4, so we'll get 2 powers of secant reduced secant square x multiplied 10x upon n minus 1, which is 4 minus 1 3 in this case, plus 2 by 3 times integral secant square x dx. Yes, bracket. So because limit is pi by 6 to pi by 3, so first part is already integrated, it must be evaluated from the same limits, and the second part is still under integral, so we'll apply the limits of integral as pi by 6 to pi by 3. Yes, and the second integral, this one, let's again separate both the parts. First part in this case is, see, this part sin square part, and second part is cos square part. So first we let's also use the other color so that it will be easier for us to catch it. Yes, so in the second part, first we take sin square part separate. So sin square upon denominator, that will become again secant square 4x, secant raised to power 4x. Yes, under the same limits, pi by 6 to pi by 3. Yes, then also the second part, which is cos square x, so it will automatically become 1 upon sin raised to power 2x cos square x dx. Yes, so this part, this integral is same as this integral, which was already 4 times. So this 1 time has been reduced, so directly we can, this 4 times can be reduced to 3 times, because this integral will also be evaluated as the same value. Yes, so from here we can write 3 times secant square x dot 10x upon 3 evaluated from pi by 6 to pi by 3 plus 2 by 3 secant square integral is 10x evaluated from pi by 6 to pi by 3. Yes, then only the last part is remaining. Last part can be solved easily by converting into sin square 2x. So 4, a factor of 4 is multiplied in the numerator and denominator, so this will become 4 times integral cosec square 2x dx. Integral limits are same, pi by 6 to pi by 3. Now calculating these OR values, we are easily able to get the answer 32 root 3 upon 9. The calculation part students can do by themselves. Yes. So the answer for this is again option number 2. Next. So simple question for vector algebra. We have equation given as r vector cross a vector plus b vector cross a vector equal to 0 vector, where a vector is some known vector, b vector is also some known vector. So we can easily write r vector by rearranging this term. Can I say r vector plus b vector cross a vector is null vector? That means r vector plus b vector must be a parallel vector to a vector. So from here we can easily imply that r vector plus b vector is equal to lambda times a vector. So from here r vector is nothing but lambda times a vector minus b vector. So lambda is the only unknown here. So by substituting the values of a and b, and one extra condition is given to evaluate lambda. So we'll follow the steps here. Put lambda times components of a. I am just using the short notation root 7 1 minus 1. These are coordinate. These are the direction ratios of vector a, minus, or you can say components are directly written here, and 0 1 2 are the components of b. So we are getting here r vectors component as root 7 lambda comma lambda minus 1 comma minus lambda minus 2. These are the components of r vector. Okay, and we have a vector already given. A vector components I am directly writing as root 7 comma 1 comma minus 1. So since r vector is perpendicular to a vector, so their dot product must be 0. By calculating that, we are getting 7 lambda plus lambda minus 1 plus lambda plus 2 equal to 0. So by simplifying this, we are getting 9 lambda plus 1 equal to 0. That means lambda equal to minus 1 by 9. Now by substituting this value, we will easily be able to calculate the value of mod of 3r square. Mod of 3r vector whole square, that means nothing but 9 times mod of r square. So 9 times mod of r square is nothing but 7 lambda square plus lambda minus 1 whole square using these components here, plus lambda plus 2 whole square. Simplifying this, we will get 9 times 7 lambda square plus lambda square plus lambda square is 9 lambda square effectively, and here minus 2 lambda plus 4 lambda will become 2 lambda, and 1 plus 4 will become 5 in this case. So now we can substitute the value of lambda here directly. 9 times 9 into 1 by 81 plus 2 into minus 1 by 9 plus 5. Calculating, will get 81 by 81, which is 1, plus minus 2 plus 35. So we are getting the answer equal to, I think I am making some mistake, 45 must be this value. So we are getting 45 minus 1 equal to 44. That should be our required answer. Yes. Next question. In the next question, we are given one ellipse whose eccentricity is known, and one focus is given, and the point is unknown on the ellipse, and the area of the triangle POS is given. Where O is considered as the center of the ellipse, and P is the given point, and SB as taken as this focus. Let's take S as focus and O as, which is not mentioned, but let's see, O is the center. Let's take it as center. So now by eccentricity formula, I can directly deduce. See, we can see the ellipse is of standard format. The only problem is to check if A is greater than B or A is less than B. So since the focus is lying on the x-axis, that means we can say x-axis is the major axis. That means A is greater than B. So second case is rejected, first case is selected. So in this case, we will be able to easily get the values of B square upon A square, which is equal to 1 minus E square, which is clearly 1 minus 16 by 25, which is 9 by 25. And also, since focus is 4 comma 0, then we can say that AE is 4. So from here we have one more relation between eccentricity and AB. So we have A square E square is equal to A square minus B square, and we don't know if B square and A square are exactly 9 and 25 or some multiples of them. That's why we are checking from here. So let's say here B square value is some 9k and A square value is some 25k, and substituting these values here, we are getting 16 is equal to 25k minus 9k, which clearly gives us k equal to 1. So from here we can say that a square value is 25 and b square value is 9. Yes. So now by simple geometry we can calculate the area of that triangle. See, O is the origin and the center of this ellipse, and S is the focus 4 comma 0, and P is some point whose coordinates are 3 comma alpha. So we need to just calculate alpha. The area of this triangle will be, because alpha is behaving as the height for this triangle and base is easily visible, that it is equal to 4. So the area of triangle must be equal to half multiplied 4 multiplied alpha. So simply we need to find the value of alpha, and alpha can be easily calculated using the equation of ellipse. So in the equation of ellipse we can substitute this point, because this point is lying on the circumference of ellipse or periphery of ellipse. We can say x square upon 25 plus y square upon 16, y square upon 9 is equal to 1. This is the equation of ellipse. Let's satisfy 3 comma alpha and this equation. So we are getting 9 upon 25 plus alpha square upon 9 is equal to 1. So from here we are getting alpha square upon 9 is equal to 16 by 25. So clearly alpha is equal to 4 into 3, 12 by 5. Yes. So alpha we have got here. So substituting the value of alpha, we are getting 2 into 12 by 5, which is clearly 24 by 5. That should be the required area for this question. Yes. Easy, simple method, but only just you need to follow the steps only in this question. Just a conceptual question, very easy level, I would say. Next question, shortest distance of the point from the line. Okay, so because this line is in three-dimensional space, so we can take one parametric point on this line, let's say lambda. So the coordinates of that point must be 2 lambda plus 1 comma minus lambda plus 3 comma 2. Yes, and foot of perpendicular from 2 comma 3 comma 4 is required to find in order to find the shortest distance. Yes, let us assume the foot of perpendicular is that same parametric point lambda. So if this point is lying at the foot of perpendicular, that means slope of this line and slope of this line both will be in such a way that their product will be minus 1. Yes. So first let's because we are talking about in 3D, so we are not talking about m1 m2 equal to minus 1. We will talk about their direction ratios and dot product of the vectors along these two lines. So this vector we will calculate and this vector we will calculate, and the dot product must be equal to 0. So from here, if I am calculating, let's say this point is P and this point is N, so I am calculating first direction ratios of P and vector. So their direction ratios must be 2 lambda plus 1 minus 2, which is minus 1, minus lambda plus 3 minus 3, which is minus lambda, and 2 minus 4 again minus 4. These are the direction ratios. And direction ratios of the given line, this given line direction ratios are already given in question, 2 minus 1 and 0. So 2 minus 1 and 0, both these vectors are, let's say this is B vector, both these vectors must be perpendicular to each other. So by taking dot product, we will be saying 4 lambda minus 2 plus lambda plus 0 must be equal to 0. So 5 lambda must be equal to 2. From here we can say that lambda is equal to 2 by 5. By substituting lambda value here, by substituting lambda value in the coordinates of the point, we are easily able to get the values. I think let's just recheck the calculation if we have not made some mistake. 4 lambda minus 2 plus lambda minus 2, 0 is equal to 0. So lambda is equal to 2 by 5. Yes, correct. So if I am putting lambda is equal to 2 by 5 here, so I am getting 4 by 5 plus 1, which is 9 by 5. Okay, 4 by 5 plus 1, which is 9 by 5. So here 3 minus 2 by 5, which is easily calculatable. 3 minus 2 by 5, which is 15 minus 2, 13 by 5, comma 2. So this is the coordinates of the foot of perpendicular. So we need the shorter distance, that means we are looking for the distance Pn. Okay, so that Pn must be equal to 9 by 5 minus 2 upon whole square, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square, in this manner. So our answer should be based on this calculation. If we are making this calculation, this will become 1 by 25, this will become 15 minus 13, 4, 2 square 4, that means 4 by 25 plus 2 square 4. So this is basically becoming 5 by 25, which is equal to 1 by 5 plus 4, which is clearly equal to root 21 by 5. So easy calculation also, just a procedural question. Option C is correct.
And now, let's tackle some chemistry questions.
Welcome to Narayana Educational Institutions. We have a question with us from JEE Main Chemistry. The question is, pH of 10 raised to the power of -7 molar aqueous, or you can say equivalent KOH solution at 25 degrees Celsius is. So over here, KOH is a strong base, so it will dissociate to produce K plus and OH minus. Now the concentration of KOH is obviously 10 raised to the power of -7. So upon dissociation, it will produce 10 raised to the power of -7 molar OH minus. Now H2O, it will be dissociated into H plus and OH minus. Concentration of H plus coming from H2O is, let's say, X. So the concentration of OH minus coming from H2O will again be X. Now the concentration of OH minus coming from KOH is obviously 10 raised to the power of -7. So the net concentration of OH minus in this case, it is X plus 10 raised to the power of -7. Now, since the concentration of OH minus is more than 10 raised to the power of -7, so this solution obviously will be basic and its pH will obviously be greater than 7, slightly greater than 7. So the correct response in this case is option C. Right, let us move to the next question. Now we have two statements. In an octahedral complex, each electron in T2g orbital stabilizes by 0.4 times delta O, and that of EG orbital destabilizes by 0.6 delta O. So let us understand, let's say I have degenerate d orbital. Now if I place 6 ligands, then obviously the degeneracy will be disturbed. It will be split into two set of orbitals. The one with the lower energy is called T2g, and the one with the higher energy is called EG. Now, as per conservation of energy, these three orbitals, their energy will be decreased by an extent 0 minus 0.4 times delta O, and these two orbitals, their energy will increase by an extent plus 0.6 delta O per orbital, right? So obviously the energy of T2g orbital will be decreased and that of EG orbital will get increased, right? So the statement itself is saying in octahedral complexes, each electrons in T2g orbital stabilizes, this is correct, and that of EG orbital destabilizes, this is again correct. Now the second option or the second statement is all d orbitals are of the same energy, this is true initially, but after complex formation its degeneracy is getting disturbed. So obviously both the statements are correct in this question. Now let us go through the statement. The order of electronegativity is FON, this is obviously correct. In OF2, if we talk about OF2, so in OF2 the oxygen will have an oxidation state +2, this is correct, and in N2O nitrogen will be +1 and oxygen will be -2. So in this case both the statements, that is 1 and 2, both are correct. So let us go to the next question. The next question is, arrange the following mixtures in the increasing order of pH, right? So we have to arrange them in the order of increasing pH. So we should start with lowest pH and then we should go to the highest pH. So let us go through them one by one. So in the option A, I have 10 ml and the solution is decimolar, and 1 by 10 molar HCl plus 10 ml 1 by 10 molar CaOH whole twice. So now in this case the concentration, or you can say the number of equivalents of acid, will be 10 into 1 by 10, which is 1. If I had to find out the number of equivalents of base, then it should be 2, which is the N factor of calcium hydroxide, multiplied by 10 into 1 by 10. So this should be 2. So as we can see, the concentration of base in this case is higher. So the concentration of OH minus in this case will be 2 minus 1 upon the net volume, which is 20 liter, 20 ml. So in this case, it will be 1 by 20, or you can say 0.05, right? The concentration of OH minus in this case is 0.05. Now let us go through the option B, in which the concentration of H plus, or I can say the NaVa part. The NaVa part is again 10 into 1 by 10, which is 1. Now let us find out NbVb OH minus. In this case, NbVb will be 2 times 1 by 10 into 25, right? So it should be how much? In this case, it will be 5. So obviously in this case again OH minus is greater, so it should be 5 minus 1 upon the net volume, which is 10 plus 25, which will be 4 by 35. Now if I solve this, this value will be approximately 0.11. Now in the third option, we only have two acids, right? So obviously it will be acidic, and as we can see, options A and B are basic, and the concentration of OH minus is obviously greater in B. So if we have to compare the pH, it will be least for C, and OH minus is highest in case of option B. So B will be highest, so this will be the answer, C followed by A and then B. This will be most acidic, this will be most basic. So highest pH will be of B and the lowest pH will be of option C. So the correct response in this case is obviously option C. Let us go through the next question. The question is, calculate mole fraction of water in a 10% weight by weight solution of urea, right? And they have given it in a way that x into 10 raised to power minus 3, and we are supposed to calculate x. So 10% weight by weight urea means we have 10 gram urea plus 90 gram of water. So the number of moles of urea, if I have find out, this will be 10 upon 60. So this will be 1 by 6, this will be 1.166 recurring form, and the number of moles of water in this case, it will be 90 upon 18, which will be 5. Now we have to find out mole fraction of water. They are asking about water. So mole fraction of water, mole fraction of water. So I can write this will be mole fraction of water plus upon mole fraction of water plus that of urea. So this expression comes out to be 5 upon 5.166. Now this 5 upon 5.166 can be written as x upon 1000 because it is 10 raised to power minus 3. So the value of x will be 5000 upon 5.166. Now if you solve this expression, we find out the value. This will be approximately 968. This will be approximately 968. So this is the answer to this question. Thank you.
Let us now explore a few questions from physics.
So hello everyone. So again this is a question from AC. So here they have given that angular frequency is reduced from omega naught to omega naught by 8 and current becomes I naught by 4. So then they are asking us the relation between all these three variables. So how do we solve this? So let us see how do we write current. Current is written as current in a AC circuit is peak value of current in AC circuit is V naught by Z. Z for a RC circuit is under root of R square plus 1 by omega square C square. Now next time when the angular frequency is reduced to omega naught by 8, the current becomes I naught by 4. So we can write I naught by 4 is equals to V naught by under root of R square plus 64 by omega square C square. So we have these two equations. From these two equations, we have to get the relation between the variables. So we can replace I naught from here in this equation. So we will be getting 1 by 4 times of V naught by under root of R square plus 1 by omega square C square is equals to V naught by under root of R square plus 64 by omega square C square. So V naught will be getting cancelled, and then we can squaring it on both sides and inverting them. We will be getting 16 into R square plus 1 by omega square C square is equals to R square plus 64 by omega square C square. So simplifying this, we will be getting 15 R square is equals to 48 by omega square C square. So 3 is common multiple here, 3 5 and 3 16 times. So we will be getting 5 by 16 is equals to 1 by R square omega square C square. So if we find for the given variables, we will be getting here 1 by r omega c is equals to under root of 5 by 16. So we can say the first option would be the correct answer. So next let us see the next one. A particle is moving uniformly, enters a region having magnetic field 3i plus 2j and its acceleration is 4i cap plus x by 2 j cap. Then find the value of x. So we know that whenever a particle is in a magnetic field, force acting on the particle is q into v bar cross b bar. So which means that force is perpendicular to velocity as well as magnetic field. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration, so we can say acceleration is perpendicular to velocity and magnetic field. So which means these two are perpendicular to each other. So if two vectors are perpendicular to each other, then their dot product has to become 0. So we can say dot product of b bar dot a bar has to be 0. So what would be the b bar dot a bar here? So it would be 3i cap plus 2j cap dot product of 4i cap plus x by 2 j cap has to be 0, which would be 12 plus x has to be 0. X value will become minus 12. So then let us see the next one, and this is from magnification due to a microscope. And if you guys remember, magnification due to a microscope is given as L into D by FO into FE, where L is tube length. So if FO and FE are small, then we can take tube length and length of the microscope both as same. So based on this, we can say magnification in this case is length of the microscope into D by FO into FE. And they have given that both of them have same magnification. Magnification is same, and length, they are asking us to find the ratio of the length of the microscope, and objective focal length is same. D is near point, which is always 25 centimeter. So we can say L1 into D by FO into FE1 is equals to L2 into D by FO into FE2. So D will be getting cancelled. FO will be getting cancelled. So L2 by L1 becomes FE2 by FE1. Now what would be the value of focal length? So they have given that second one is only half of it is removed. So we can say 1 by F1 is nu minus 1 into 2 by R because it is equiconvex, whereas FE1 1 by FE2 is nu minus 1 into 1 by R. So we can say 1 by FE1 is 2 times of FE2. So FE2 by FE1 has to be 2. So this would be the value of FE2 by FE1. So if we substitute this one here, L2 by L1 must be equals to 2. We will be getting here. So the focal length of eyepiece can be written as FE1 can be written as nu minus 1 into 2 by R. Focal length of the eyepiece for the second microscope can be written as nu minus 1 into 1 by R. So if we substitute this value as 1 by FE2, so 1 by FE1 will be equals to 2 by FE2. So we will be getting L2 by L1 as 2.
Good evening, champions. I am very sure you all have gone through the paper of JEE Main, and those who are in the long run to write the paper are awaiting some sort of analysis, some sort of ideas how the paper was. So here we are again, myself Ashish Khare from Department of Mathematics, and along with me is Ajay Pandey sir from Physics Department and Shantanu Singh sir from Chemistry Department. This is JEE Main session 2. Today is 5th April and we are going to understand the psyche of the paper that came on the first shift. As such, apparently looking on the whole, the paper is bound to be as good as or as tough as or as lengthy as it was in the January session, so that the level of paper remains the same. But when we go deep, we find many a times that the questions are more of the usual questions of JEE, but with length, or sometimes we find that the questions are tricky but not that lengthy. So we will explore for this particular session, and to begin this session we start with a little bit of understanding of how much different this was from the January session, if at all it was, in physics. Ajay Pandey sir, your views on this.
Thank you sir, thank you very much. Well, after analyzing the paper 1, after analyzing the session 1 papers and this session 2 paper, what I find sir that the physics is quite balanced. It is like last time I found that in session 1 almost all paper were balanced. So the same here, nearly equal weightage of class 11th and class 12th, it's almost same. Comparatively less calculative. In session 1, I found some paper were more calculative, but this paper, today's paper, it's comparatively less calculative. As far as level is concerned, I would rate this paper as moderate. It will be comparatively moderate, slightly above moderate, moderate to tough side, but that's almost moderate. Based on NCERT, completely based on NCERT. If a student has appeared, if the student has completed the NCERT, he or she would be able to do at least 20 to 20 questions very easily, I think. So not much calculation, not much of depth of knowledge, only NCERT is more than sufficient. Many questions are directly formula based. Exact formula are given, like we have a topic, properties of matter. So in this paper they have given 3 questions of properties of matter. Generally it doesn't happen,
which is a higher side.
Generally it doesn't happen because the topic is also not too lengthy. It's a very small topic. In class we cover it in max to max 2 classes, but this time they have given 3 questions from that, and all the questions are directly formula based. Most of the questions are JEE Main PYQ based. So in the class we always say that attempt JEE Main PYQ, JEE Main PYQ. Many of the times we always emphasize on JEE Main PYQ.
So questions are more of a template based kind of thing.
More of that, okay, sir. If a student has appeared JEE Main PYQ, last 5 years JEE Main PYQ, I'm sure that he or she would be able to do 20 questions at least very easily. And it's the paper was on basic concepts, exactly basic concept, and once again a very important thing that the paper was focused on NCERT. So any student who is going to appear the exam tomorrow, today, not tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, he or she must go for the NCERT, I think, sir. That's from physics side, sir.
That's from physics side. Thank you, Ajay sir. What I realize is that NCERT day by day is becoming the one single relevant source for JEE Main. Everything is around NCERT. More so, class 11th and 12th syllabus comes out to be balanced. What Ajay sir has highlighted is that the questions were straight away a templated kind of questions which have been there always in the PYQs. Needless to say that when we teachers like Ajay sir and Shantanu sir say that the paper is easy, it appears easy to us. But for someone who is on the ground, is attempting the paper, most of the time stumbles in getting easy questions one by one correctly, assuming that the scoring would be high. So what I see is that all of you need to understand that it is now aptly necessary to do all the PYQs of all sessions that you come across of last 5, 6, 7 years, so that you understand the template, the psyche of the paper setter, that okay, this is how they evaluate or understand this chapter, and then look into the probable length of the solution or the calculation. Before I come to maths, I would like to understand the same theory, same analysis of chemistry from Shantanu sir. Sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, as per my analysis of JEE Main 2026 Session 2, 5th April, Shift 1, the paper is almost on the easier side, I would say, moderate to easier side. And what I have seen that earlier 12th portion was more in previous papers, but this time 11th portion is also on the higher side. And most of the questions are just basic questions. Yes, some calculative part is also there, but it's slightly on the easier side. And all those students who have prepared well, they have read NCERT well, they would find this paper to be easy. And some questions are also there which are slightly twisted and not much twisted, I would say. Still, they are on the easier side. And lab manual, some questions are coming straight from lab manual, so one should prepare from lab manual also. Most of the questions are pretty straightforward, not something out of the box kind of questions.
But lab manual questions had been there in the previous years.
Previous years also, yeah.
Okay.
So nothing new in this paper. And if we analyze how much portion is coming from physical chemistry, inorganic and organic chemistry, so I would say it's almost the same, around 33 to 30% from each section. I would still rate this paper on the easier side. Any person, any student who had prepared well for JEE Mains using PYQs, they would have find this paper very easy. So that's what I would say for chemistry section. Let's hear about maths.
Thank you. Thank you. As Sir has said, that in chemistry also lab manual had been an important part, so it is there again. Chemistry in NCERT was an important part, so it is again there. In fact, Sir has rated that the paper is slightly on the easier or moderate side, which indicates probably it would go on a high scoring side. When I look at the maths paper, I look at all the questions. Surprisingly, I am also of the same conclusion, although in mathematics generally what happens that even the easiest questions are supposed to be lengthy in terms of calculation, but when you look at the data, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the entire statistics given in the question, it is one of the easiest possible. I would say, to the extent whenever a question could have been twisted to a good question, they have not done it on purpose. So if there is a complex number question, without doing any sort of smart work, you directly get the complex numbers as is, and hence I would say that the paper is slightly on the easy or moderate side only. No difficult question at all, not even a single question where you think through and get something. So it is more of a paper of speed and accuracy, and considering that we had come to the same conclusion in the previous session also, so it is more so important that you have a practice of attempting as many questions as you can of PYQs in the stipulated 3-hour time. Now henceforth we will also look into each subject, what actually had come, how the questions were there, what kind of, why have we arrived at this conclusion, what is the key takeaway for you subject wise specifically, and what is the key takeaway for those who are currently into 11th, what should they prepare like. So this is an overview of the paper that we had gone through. Now let us begin one by one with subject and with the actual questions, what actually had happened on the ground. So we begin with physics, in-depth analysis of the questions that were asked. Over to Ajay sir.
Thank you again, sir. Well, my dear friends, let's talk about the questions one by one. We have 21 questions, so that's a good thing for us. We can give a proper insight. The first question belongs to a very simple concept in NLM, that is Atwood machine. So this is the question that we generally take in first or second class whenever we teach, and that's a very easy question, simple formula based question. So question 1 belongs to Newton's laws of motion, and I would rate it as very easy, very conceptual. Then I have the second question. This question comes from current electricity. You all know that current electricity is a very important topic as far as JEE Main as well as JEE Advanced is concerned. In this question, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find out the equivalent EMF and equivalent resistance, equivalent internal resistance. So the concept that is used is a combination of batteries. Few students find this concept comparatively on the tougher side, but that's a very simple formula based. If someone has practiced this, I'm sure he or she can get the question very easily. Then the third question belongs to geometrical optics, and in this question they have just given us an equilateral prism and speed of light is given. So once we get the speed of light, we can find out the refractive index, and then a very simple question is asked, that is the minimum deviation. For that minimum deviation, we can go for mu equals to sine A plus delta minimum by 2 upon sine A by 2, or we can simply go for the Snell's law. So going through Snell's law is better. Now the next question that belongs to dimensional formula, but in this dimensional formula they have used resistance, inductor and capacitance. So if you don't remember the exact dimensional formula of these things, it will take slight time for you people, because getting the dimensional formula of R separately, getting the dimensional formula of inductor separately, and getting the dimensional formula of capacitor separately, it is slightly on moderate side. Now let's talk about question number 5. So the question number 5 belongs to gravitation. And in this question, they have asked a very simple formula based question. They have given 2 points and the separation between 2 points is given, and the value of gravitational acceleration is asked. So simply we are supposed to use the variation of gravitational acceleration with height. That's a very simple question. Question number 6, surprisingly, this is of properties of matter. Answer, it doesn't take any kind of calculation. It is a simple straight line. Just one has to read this and write the answer. Simply, we know that Young modulus does not depend on the shape and size. It is the property of material. So what they have done, they have just done some variation with the shape and size, and they have asked what will be the Young modulus of the new body, but the Young modulus remains same because it is a material property. Next question is of EMI. In this, they have given a combination of inductors, and we know the inductor combination very simply, series combination and parallel combination, and energy stored is asked. The ratio of energy stored is asked. Once again, it is a very easy question. Question number 8, that is based on wave optics. That is of wave optics based on Young double slit experiment. Young double slit experiment is most probable topic as far as wave optics is concerned. Majority of times, if there are 10 papers happening, out of 10, 8 contains the question of Young double slit experiment. In this question, they have just asked the comparison of fringe width in vacuum and in medium. So that becomes very simple, that we know that in medium the fringe width becomes 1 by mu times. So that becomes easy once again. Question number 9, that is again of properties of matter. Simple breaking stress question is asked. Very simple calculation. One is not supposed to do lot of calculation. Very easy. Hardly it will take 1 minute to complete the question. That's a very easy question. Question number 10 belongs to modern physics. De Broglie wavelength. In this, what they have done, they have given the initial velocity of the electron and electric field. And at any time t, they ask the de Broglie wavelength. So we are just supposed to find out the velocity of the charged particle as function of time using kinematics, equations of kinematics, v equals to u plus at, and simply we are supposed to find out lambda equals to h upon mv. Question number 11, that belongs to system of particles. And in system of particles, the most probable topic is moment of inertia. So this question is of moment of inertia, and every time in every paper, may it be session 1 or may it be session 2, I have seen a question of moment of inertia. So those who are supposed to attempt the paper tomorrow, day after tomorrow, they must revise the moment of inertia again and again, because this is one of the most probable questions as far as system of particles is concerned. Question number 12, this is of wave motion. Simple wave equation is given. You are just supposed to find out the wavelength by comparing the equation y equals to a sine omega t minus kx. And then they have asked the minimum distance between the two consecutive crests, and we all know that the distance between two consecutive crests is equal to wavelength of the wave. So question number 13. Question number 13 belongs to KTG and thermodynamics basically. In this, what they have done, they have given us two expressions. One expression belongs to first law of thermodynamics, and another expression belongs to the relation between the adiabatic exponent gamma and the degree of freedom. And they have asked which expression is correct. Question number 14. Question number 14 is of motion in one dimension, rectilinear motion or motion in a straight line. Kinematics chapter 2, NCERT chapter 2. A very simple question is asked. They have just dropped a ball and they have asked that at what height from the surface of the earth magnitude of velocity and the magnitude of acceleration will be same. Question number 15, again properties of matter and that too modulus of rigidity. When you are taught this topic in the class, in modulus of rigidity there is one simple question always asked, that is what? A square shaped block, tangential force and the displacement is asked. So we simply use this modulus of rigidity equals to F upon A upon X upon H, a very simple formula. So F is given, A is given, H is given and X is asked. Question number 16, once again that is of semiconductor and that too based on logic gate. My dear friends, logic gate is once again a very important topic as far as JEE Main is concerned, and every year in every question paper logic gate question is asked. So do revise the logic gate if you want to do it correctly in the examination hall. It is a very probable question, very easy one also. Question number 17, that belongs to vernier caliper. In vernier caliper, they have asked the zero error in vernier caliper, so it is always taught in the class. A very simple mathematics is done. Now I have question number 18. Question number 18 belongs to atomic structure, Bohr model. They have simply asked that the electron is revolving in 4th orbit and we have to excite it to the 16th Bohr orbit. So what is the wavelength of the incident radiation? Simply, if you know the formula, the difference of energy levels, this can be done very easily.
This is also covered in chemistry.
Yes,
also.
yes, that's
Okay.
when we teach in the class, majority of times we take the help of chemistry also. And question number 19. Question number 19 belongs to alternating current. Simply what has been done, a capacitor is given and a resistance is given. And variation in frequency is done, omega naught to omega naught by 8, and then the variation of current is told that I naught to I naught by 4, and a relation is asked between the given variables. So once again that's also a very easy question, or I would correct myself, not exactly easy to moderate I would give this as. Question number 20, a particle moving uniformly enters in a region having uniform magnetic field. So magnetic field is given and acceleration is given. So magnetic field is given 3 I cap plus 2 j cap and acceleration is given 4 I cap plus x by 2 j caps. This is the question of magnetic field, motion of charged particle in magnetic field, and a very straightforward question. We all know that the force, the magnetic force is always perpendicular to the magnetic field. So force dot product with the magnetic field should be 0. In the same manner, the acceleration dot product with magnetic field should be 0. So a one line question. And the last question that I have, this belongs to geometrical optics. So you see that geometrical optics is also a very important topic. Out of 21 questions, this is the second question which belongs to geometrical optics. Simple formula based question, simple microscope based question. So if you have the result of microscope, if you know the results of basics of microscope, you can do these questions very easily. Once again, my dear friends, out of these 21 questions that I have discussed, I would rate them nearly moderate, easy to moderate, and based on NCERT completely, very fundamental questions. So those who are listening to us, those who are watching to us, I have a very simple advice to them. Go through the fundamentals, read NCERT,
just do some of the questions of PYQ and no one can stop you to come out with the flying colors. So that's all from the physics side. Now over to Ashish sir. Thank you, Ashish sir.
Thank you, Ajay sir. In fact, when I was listening to this entire conversation and Ajay sir's analysis, I realized that audio lectures are a very powerful tool to enhance learning because you don't have any visual. So whatever sir is speaking, just you are visualizing that all, and that enhances this thing. Now let us quickly move to chemistry section where Shantanu sir will give you the idea what the paper was, what you can do for those who are currently going to write the exam in next few days, or those who are currently in 11th, what they should take as a key takeaway. Shantanu sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now let us discuss chemistry part in this JEE Main 2026 session 2, morning shift 1 paper, 5th April. So question number 1 is from organic chemistry, GOC part. In this question, we have to apply POAC and Carius method is given to us. It's a very basic question. I think many students will find that this question is from examples part in the NCERT. Let's move to second question. The second question is from structure of atom chapter and quantum numbers are given. It's a very straightforward questions and I think it could be done in less than 1 minute also. It's very easy. Let's move to question number 3. So this question is from physical chemistry, class 12th, chemical kinetics chapter. Again, it's a very easy question and no or very less calculation is there. We have to find the time required to complete 90% of the reaction and half-life is given to us as 6.93 minute. The value given to us is also very easy and it's a integer based question that is given to me. This let me again remind you that these questions that we have, these are memory based questions. So I would rate this again very easy question. Then let's move to next question, question number 4. In this question, we have to identify a reaction which gives PPT and we have some organic compounds given to us. And again, I can see the compounds given are very common and they are already covered in NCERT. So all those people who have successfully read NCERT multiple times, they would find that this question is very straightforward for them. Again, a very simple question from organic chemistry, 12th part. Then question number 5. Question number 5 is, I would say, a replica of questions which are coming in JEE Main's previous years also. We have to find the compound which is having sp3 hybridization and a list of compounds is given to us. We just need to apply chemical bonding, hybridization part, and we have to find the sp3 hybridized central atom in this. It's again a very simple question from inorganic chemistry. Let's move to question number 6. So this question is from organic chemistry, class 12 part, and ozonlysis is given and another reaction is given, alkali with heat, and NaOI with H plus is given to us. So many will find this to be slightly on the moderate side because here reactant is not given to us and we have product with us. So here student needs to go backward from product to reactant. So that is why I would say that this is a moderate level question. But still, if somebody has done enough practice, then they can do this question
Something
easily.
unusual which had not been there. Okay.
This is slightly unusual compared to the paper that we are getting. This is unusual. Still a moderate level question. Then question number 7. This question is from lab manual and here we have to identify, statements are given to us, statement 1 and 2. We have to just identify whether these are correct or not, and phenolphthalein is given and K2Cr2O7 is also given to us, and this information is already present in lab manual. and it is covered in ionic equilibrium chapter also. So this question is from ionic equilibrium, I would say. Again, information based question. No need to apply a large amount of time for this. Very straightforward and information based question, fact based question. Next we have question number 8. In this, some reaction is given with dilute HNO3 and we are getting two different compounds and their percentage is asked. So I would say this reaction is very common. It's already covered in NCERT and we also cover this in detail in class notes. So nothing new and very easy from organic chemistry. Surprisingly, question number 9 is looking just like a PYQ from IIT JEE. Yes, IIT JEE, that means from before, pre-2008 JEE Advanced IIT JEE level question. But it's very easy. If somebody knows the reaction, then they can directly apply POAC and find out the correct answer. And the question that I have, I think the data is also not changed. So if somebody has done enough practice of PYQs, especially for JEE Advanced also, they could have marked their direct answer also. So again, I would say a very simple question because many students, they do practice from PYQ and they would have find this question very easy. So question number 10. Here we have to just apply Friedel-Crafts reaction and some incorrect statements are asked. It's again a very simple question from organic chemistry. Some basic level knowledge is needed and students can do this question in less than 1 minute, I would say. Next, question number 11. In this question, pH is asked for 10⁻⁻7 molar equivalent KOH solution. I would say this question is from class notes and the options are also very easy to identify. No need to solve anything, just a theoretical basic knowledge is needed. And surprisingly, one more question from ionic equilibrium. So, but still, again, a very simple question. No need to solve anything, just a basic knowledge regarding ionic equilibrium and pH calculation, and you would have got +4 marks in this question. Next we have question number 12. Here we have two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. In statement 1, we have stability of carbanion. It's very simple and I would say theory based question. And in statement 2, we have to identify whether this statement is correct or not based on inductive effect. So still, I would say this is from GOC and a very simple question, straight from class notes and NCERT. Then let's move to question number 13. In question number 13, we have again statement 1, statement 2 questions. And here we just have to identify whether these are correct or not. And the question is from chapter Coordination Compounds, class 12th. The information written over here is very standard. These are covered in class notes and NCERT in detail. I would say this to be a very simple question for any serious student. Let's move to question number 14. In question number 14, some information is given regarding glucose and its anomeric forms alpha, beta, and some information is given. We have to identify whether how many of these statements are correct. And I would say this is a theoretical question. No need to solve anything. Just a simple fact-based question. If you know the answer, you can just read the question and simply mark the correct answer. So I would say some data is given in this question. So let's say this to be a moderate level question. Let's move to question number 15. Again, a very simple question from inorganic chemistry. So here we have order of electronegativity and the elements given to us are very common, fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen, very simple. Statement 2, here we have to find the oxidation states of different elements. Again, very simple question. This question is from redox and electronegativity order is from chemical bonding and periodic table. So again, I would say very simple question, very standard simple level question. Let's move to question number 16. In this question, we have to find the pH level. We need not find pH exactly, we just need to compare the pH level. So again, a repeated question from ionic equilibrium. So multiple questions are coming from class 11th chapter ionic equilibrium. pH level calculation is there. So here we have to first react the reactants and do the reaction and then find out pH. So still I would say it's very simple level question, easy level question. No need to exactly calculate pH, just need to compare. Then let's move to question number 17. This question number 17 is also a very simple, straightforward question from mole concept. So here we have to find mole fraction of H2O and 10% W by W urea solution is given to us, and it's a numerical based question. Again, a very simple question, and I think questions like these are already covered in class notes, so student will find this question to be very easy. Now next question is question number 18. In this question some compounds are given to us and a very standard reaction, Hofmann bromide degradation reaction is given to us, and we have to just find out whether the reaction, reactant and product are correctly matching or not. So again a very simple question from class 12th organic chemistry, a mines chapter. In statement 2 we have Gabriel thalamide synthesis, and I would still say this to be a very standard, very simple question. So these are question 18, total question 18 with us. These are, again let me remind you, these are memory based questions, and based on this I can advise students to please revise NCERT, especially for chemistry and physics also. Sir has said NCERT is very important, and the paper is coming out to be very easy, and still if you read NCERT and class notes you can do very well. You can score around 90 to 100 in chemistry if you simply read NCERT. So that's it from my side in chemistry. Let's move to maths.
Thank you, sir. Before I start maths, I have a question for you. That you said that there was a particular question which was from JEE Advanced.
Yes, sir.
Previously, IIT JEE. In the previous session, January, what I saw that most of the questions of maths, in fact, I did a complete working also on that, and I found somewhere around 36 to 40 questions were from previous year JEE Advanced, which were either being like diluted so as to make it JEE Main level, but the content, the equations were as good as same. So I would like to understand this from Ajay sir, that had he also seen such a trend in physics?
No, sir. Basically, I find that this is not based on, I don't find any question of previous year JEE Advanced which is repeated here. But yes, from last 5 years, JEE Main questions, exactly those JEE Main questions are repeated.
So probably this seems like that the different subjects have different likeliness of following question patterns or IIT pedagogy. So let's begin with maths. As I said, maths also is a easy straight paper, but yes, calculations could have been lengthy. We'll go step by step with question by question. So the first question that we get on the memory based paper is a summation question, where in the denominator we have n into n plus 1 into n plus 2, a usual question. If in a sequence the terms of denominators are in AP, we try for the telescopic method, subtract the difference between the first and last term of denominator AP. So this is a usual question, not that big deal. You have to find the sum. Second question is that there is an equilateral triangle, it's a coordinate geometry where the one of the vertex is given and the other two vertices lie on a particular line. Ortho center is given to be alpha beta. So when we have a point and the other line is given, so you get the perpendicular line and then you work on the ortho center with respect to your known things. It is a easy question. Everybody must have done such question earlier. The third one which I have here is a definite integral 0 to infinity ln x upon x square plus 4, a usual substitution question. Whenever we have 0 to infinity, we know we generally substitute the reciprocal to get the question in place. Since here is x square plus 4, so you know what has to be substituted and the result is done. A very straightforward question. The next one is even easier. It is sum of a first n terms of AP Sn is given as 3n square plus 5n. Now this I rate it as a typical NCERT class 10th level question, which now I see that AP has moved to class 9th from the current curriculum. All you need to do is Sn minus 1, that is sum up to n terms minus sum up to n minus 1 terms is Tn. You get the AP. Whatever has been asked is one of the easiest question I have seen in the JEE papers. The next one is a slightly better one. We have a set A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The number of one-to-one functions from FA to A, f of 1 is greater than equal to 3, f of 3 is less than equal to 4, and f of 2 plus f of 3 is equal to 5. Technically, if the set A was a little bit bigger one, so this would definitely have been a JEE advanced level question. But since A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all you needed to do, validating that this is a JEE main question, create a table of possibilities and you get the result directly. So it's not that big because f of 1 is greater than equal to 3. So you have limited choices. F of 3 is less than equal to 4. You have a limited choices, and f of 2 plus f of 3 is 5. The other one again I would say is a typically NCERT CBSE level question. Tan A and tan B are roots of the equation x square minus 2x plus 5. So you technically have tan A plus tan B, tan A into tan B, and thus you have tan of A plus B. Now if you have tan A plus B, they have asked you 20 times sine square A plus B by 2. So tan A plus B has a direct formula which you should be remembering for this. The other one, the seventh one, so to say from the memory based, is a integral pi by 6 to pi by 3, indicating that the King's property, so to say, is to be used. 4 minus cosecant square upon cos raised to 4x. So since the limits are indicating that Kings have to be used, you use that and you get this is a usual definite integral question. There could have been many better versions of this question, but this is one of the easiest, so to say. The other one is a vector where they say r cross A plus B cross A is a 0 vector. A and B are given to be the actual vectors. Along with that, r dot A is 0. They ask you 3 times r, the modulus whole square. One way to approach this is r cross A plus B cross A is 0. So r plus B cross A is 0. So r plus B is some lambda times A. But I recommend, since they have asked you r square, think of such questions for a better method. If you do a triple product, r cross A is same as A cross B cross A. So you realize modulus of r square comes out in the very next stroke and you get 9 times modulus of r square. Any which ways, the otherwise method was also not that lengthy. The ninth one, I have a functional equation. There could have been a hell lot of good functional equations to ask, but what they have asked is f of x plus y is f of x plus f of y whole divided by 3, and then they have given us gx, that is 3 plus e to the power x fx. Now this functional equation has two approaches. One, you go by the fundamental, since they have given f dash of 0, so it is a differentiable function, so you work on that. Otherwise, keeping y as constant, differentiate this entire equation with respect to x. That's what normally people do. So you get f dash of x plus y is f dash x by 3, and you get an equation in f dash, and it is done. So again, a straightforward, easy, but a functional equation question has some weightage. At least you have to explore something. Then 10th is an ellipse question. You have been given an ellipse with the eccentricity 4 by 5. Focus 4 comma 0. Now the very moment you understand focus 4 comma 0, AE comma 0 is given, so you get A. There is a point which lies on the ellipse and you are supposed to find the area of triangle POS. Now if you do a mental calculation, POS means O is on the axis, so OS is length 4, so you have the base of the triangle, and alpha is basically the height of the triangle, because whatever is the y coordinate, that's the distance from. So all you needed to do is find alpha, which you can get very easily, because in the equation you get A and B. A because of AE and B because of the eccentricity. So not a very tricky or this question. Basically 2 to 3 minutes calculation and it's done. The shortest distance of point in 3 dimension 2, 3, 4 from a line given in the symmetric form. This is easy to calculate. Just take a point lambda with the parameter lambda on the line. Do the directions. That means that particular point when joined with your point P has to be perpendicular. You get the value of lambda, you go ahead. So far in 11 questions, not even a single question that indicates that there is something big. I have one more which is a differential equation. When you look at the differential equation, it might haunt you. Y upon x square sine of y upon x plus 1 upon x is equal to 1 upon x times dy by dx. But the one stroke, multiply by entire equation by x and you realize, oh, this is a function of y by x, so put y is equal to vx and you are done. So there is nothing that was very tricky. There could have been better ways to solve it, but when you do a paper, you see the first one that strikes to you, multiply by x and this becomes a homogeneous equation, straightforward. Next one is a binomial theorem question. Sum of coefficients of x raised to 7 and x raised to 14 in the expansion of 1 upon x cube minus x raised to 4 whole raised to n is 0, then the value of this is. Now this is simply calculating the coefficient in terms of n, 1 of x raised to 7 and 1 of x raised to 14. The only thing that could have been of concern is there is a minus sign, so you need to take care of that minus 1 to the power n to analyze which term is positive, both are negative or both are positive, one negative. The single equation will directly give you the value of n, so there is nothing that will be typical here comparing the coefficients. Permutation combination question, we have different versions of it, but then they say two players A and B play a series of match. The winner would be one who wins 5 matches. Who would be one who wins 5 matches. So before 5 matches, whatever series you make is the question. Now this is those questions which when we take in class, we take up warm-up question. We take as warm-up questions in the classroom, that how could somebody, once you understand these questions, then we go to the higher level. So currently the paper is basically those questions which were straightforward, direct, so to say the warm-up questions in the paper. The next one, now look at this question. The maximum distance between vertex of a parabola, there is no parameter in the vertex. It's x square plus 6x minus y plus 5 is equal to 0 from a circle, which again is a complete equation. X square y square minus 6x minus 8y plus 21 is equal to 0. What do they want to tell us? First, get the vertex of parabola, which is a point. Now, a point's maximum distance from circle is class 8th, 9th question, because then you go to the center and do the opposite side. It's that easy as a question. Was not very easy for me to believe that actually the question was this. The second, next one, 16th one, this is a little bit enticing, although the data given was so easy. We have a equation x square plus ax plus b is equal to 0, where a and b belongs to complex numbers. So first time something critical, something new, that a and b are complex coefficient, have roots alpha beta. Now things change suddenly. Beta square minus alpha square is 3 iota times under root 11 and beta minus alpha is under root 11. So if I plug in the beta minus alpha value, I get beta plus alpha. Beta plus alpha is as simple as 3 iota. Beta minus alpha is root 11. Why should somebody get into terms of a, b and the result that a plus alpha plus beta is minus b by a or whatever? You have alpha beta directly here. Beta plus alpha is given, beta minus alpha is given. Add them, subtract them, you get alpha beta as complex number. They have asked you beta cube minus alpha cube whole square. So you may use your symmetric parameters beta minus alpha, beta plus alpha, or you directly use the value of beta alpha. Any which ways was not more than a 3-minute question in all possibilities. Find the area of region in first quadrant bounded by the curve xy is less than equal to 27. Could have been a little bit troublesome, but they have saved it with the second inequality. Y lies between 1 and x square. Why I say could have been trouble? Because in a rectangular hyperbola or hyperbola, most of the time students get this wrong notion. What is the part that is the interior or less than equal to? Xy is equal to 27 is a rectangular hyperbola. You draw this in the first quadrant. Then y is equal to x square is an upward parabola. And then you draw y is equal to 1. You find that this line goes below the point of intersection. You have y is greater than equal to 1, so above. So you have a kind of curvy linear triangle with a point of intersection. Now point of intersection could have been of trouble, but y is equal to x square and xy is equal to 27 gives you directly the point which would have been there. So it's now nothing as simple as a definite integral split into two parts and then the area. Yes, take some time in calculation. Finally, I have one good question here which says limit x tending to 0, 1 minus cos alpha x, cos of alpha plus 1x, cos of alpha plus 2x whole divided by sine square of alpha plus 1x is equal to 2. All possible values of alpha when multiplied together, they want the product. Why I say that finally one good question? Because when we talk about the limit has to be already given to be 2. So if we start with cos of alpha x, cos of alpha plus 1x, it takes a hell lot of toll in calculation. But we know when x tending to 0, sin x upon x also tends to 1. So I at every point of time replace sin x by x. This is what we were supposed to do. Cos of alpha x is 1 minus 2 times sine square alpha x by 2. I can anytime write sine square alpha x by 2 by alpha square x by 2. So the very moment you do it, you realize that your entire trigonometric result becomes a polynomial upon polynomial result. It is done. I don't say that you can't do it otherwise. It's just about substituting a particular value. The second option could have been, since alpha plus 1x is in between, take it as t. So you will get t plus alpha by 2, t minus alpha x by 2 in the numerator, and that also is not that clumsy. But finally, one question which tested some sort of abilities of ours to work on calculations. The other one was a fantastic question, although is so much overused that everybody understand what it is. This says pi by 4 plus summation p from 1 to n tan inverse 2 raised to p minus 1 upon 2 raised to 2p minus 1. The only smart point is, in the numerator 2 raised to p minus 1 multiply 1, which doesn't make a sense because 1 is already there. You have to write 1 as 2 minus 1 and your numerator becomes 2 raised to p minus 2 raised to p minus 1. It is telescopic ready, next 2 lines and you are done. But for somebody who had no idea, this was a question. Yaar, how can I think of writing 1 as 2 minus 1? But these are the questions, you have been doing it so many number of times that I don't see that it was something, a thought provoking question. Everybody was aware of this thing. Another one is a probability question, although is a good question, I don't deny that. A teacher wrote all the words, certain words of the cities Kanpur and Anandpur on the board, but due to some malfunction on the board, all the letters of the word are not there, only 2 consecutive of them are available, and given that these 2 consecutive are an, what is the probability that the word written was Kanpur? So this is a Bayes theorem question. We have been doing it in class. Electron, proton, neutron, the 2 consecutive alphabets are O, N, and hence the result. Although 2 consecutive letters saves the problem, otherwise this could have been a really tough question. So in Kanpur you will find there are 5 set of consecutive and the otherwise do the Bayes theorem inverse probability and it is done. It, I find, among all the questions, at least has some weight as a question. The last that I have here is a system of equations, a usual determinant question with a lambda and mu in the place in system of equation, has infinite solutions, then lambda plus mu is equal to. So again, nothing that this is basically a class 12th question where you get lambda mu because of infinite solution and then lambda plus mu as a question. What I see that probably IITs have understood that making or have made it a point that even if we make a question paper from routine questions, from the basic fundamental awareness questions from NCERT in physics and chemistry and NCERT level in maths with a little bit of length in calculation, a student find 3 hours as a short of time to complete the paper thoroughly. Among those who complete the paper thoroughly, then comes the next challenge: how much do you score? We see that some students definitely score 300 out of 300, but when we come to the 99th percentile score and all, we find it ranging between 180 to 195, 120. That's not most likely going to change here also, because knowing something that yes, this is the paper, this is the question what I have to do, and doing it and getting it done and scoring it is a different ball game altogether. I recommend along with the panel here that all those who are going to write the paper in the next days should practice writing, working on questions with speed and accuracy for 3 consecutive hours, so that you can attempt your 45, 50, 55 questions thoroughly without error. And those who are in class 11 get into the habit of writing, solving problems of easy and moderate levels as much as you can. I am signing off from this side with Ajay sir and Shantanu sir here. My name is Ashish Khare. Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you all.